And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, all over the world, of course. We got to talk about the whole Ukraine kerfuffle. This is going to be a lot going on with that. I have quite a bit to say on that particular front. They're trying to get us involved in the war. We have troops over there, right, in Poland, talking about, oh, we have troops in Eastern Europe. Okay, well, we got troops right on the border of Ukraine, American troops. Are we going to invade Ukraine? I think not. Are you trying to die behind Kiev, Ukraine? I think not. We'll talk about that in much more detail a little bit later. Also, this case in Los Angeles has an update. That whole transgender offender. I don't want to say the word because I don't want to get flagged on the YouTubes, but y'all know what's going on. There's an update to that case. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Also, shout out to Cal Rittenhouse fighting the power, literally fighting against these ridiculous nut jobs in the mainstream media. We got to have it. We got to have some people that say, you know what, no more. We're not just going to let you do whatever you want to us as a people. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. Also, the New York City vax mandate might be coming to an end pretty soon. It might be a wrap because of a very specific reason. We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. Most certainly appreciate you guys. If you enjoy what you have heard thus far, if you enjoy my content in general, please give the video a thumbs up. Also, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. This is a podcast. I'm recording live, and it will be available as audio only on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether it be Apple iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, etc. Links to all that will be in the description box, or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should be able to pop right on up. And of course, shout out to all my sponsors as always. Shout out to patriotpost.us, the best source of news and information anywhere on the internet. You can't beat them, bar none. Patriotpost.us. Check for them in the description box, or if you're on the podcast, it should be in some kind of description area. It might be a box or a bubble or tab. I'm not really sure where it is, but check them out right now, patriotpost.us. Also, who we got? We have my particular website, anthonyblogan.com. If you ever have any questions about, hey, man, how can I find your email? How can I find social media? How can I find you on Facebook, Twitter, Insta Snaps, all that good stuff? Go to anthonyblogan.com, go to the contact page. And if you ever have a question about my sources, hey, man, where'd you get that source from? Did you make it up? Are you faking news? Never, ever will you see fake news on this channel. I'm always bringing the truth plus my opinion, okay? Not just opinion with no truth. I give you the hard cold facts, and then I give you my 2 cents on the whole topic. But go to my website, anthonyblogan.com, to see articles that I write myself with sources from all over the internets, so you can see what's going on for yourself without taking my word for it exclusively. Fact check me on my own website. How about that? anthonyblogan.com. Also go to ablmerch.com. for all the cool hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more. And if you guys didn't see, I am going to be hiring somebody to help me with that, because I got a lot of ideas I want to do for our merch, but my time is so limited. I just don't have enough time to switch my brain to a whole different mode to get these ideas out the way I want it. So if you're interested in helping me with the store, put it to you this way. What I'm looking for is somebody that can help me design the merch with my input, because I know what I'm needing. I need you, if you're going to be that person, to bring it to life and to create variations on the store. You see what I'm saying? So I'll give you the green light to put things on there, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. There is pay, of course. I'm not going to be some kind of slave driver. I'll give you a percentage of the sales on the store. I won't say what the percentage is right now. I'll say that once we get into it. But trust and believe, if you're able to do well and the store does well, you can do very well on the store, 100%. We got midterms coming up. I'm just getting prepared for the rush with the midterms and all kind of stuff going on with the world. It's going to be very busy this year. So I'll need you to help with that. But again, right now, we still got merch up, ablmerch.com. Check it on out. And if you're interested about, helping with the store, email me at contact@anthonyblogan.com. Again, contact@anthonyblogan.com. And my email is always on the website, anthonyblogan.com, right on the contact page. Very easy to remember. So what else we got? Oh, of course, the beautiful people over at bhedesigns.com. That is BHEDESIGNS.com. They make these beautiful handmade wooden flags that are right behind me. You can get ones just like those, or your custom-made flag. Go to the website, see a flag, pick it out. They'll hook you up. Tell them ABL sent you over at bhedesigns.com. So did I get everybody? I got Patriot Post, my website, BHE Designs. I got everybody. So shout out to all the sponsors. Shout out to everybody that's watching. If you sharing, you tweeting, whatever you're doing, thank you for being here. Couldn't do it without you. Now, we got a whole lot going on. I'm going to get to everything that's happening. I'm not sure where to start. I think I'm going to start with Kyle Rittenhouse, and then I'm going to get to Ukraine. I'm going to get to Ukraine pretty soon because it's going to be kind of a long topic. There's a lot going on with that particular situation that I really want to address. But Kyle Rittenhouse first. Now, Kyle Rittenhouse has said, you know what, enough's enough. I'm tired of the mainstream media attacking people and pretty much getting away with it. And what I mean by attacking people is you could just say whatever you want to say about somebody and have no repercussion. And it's different. Like, okay, put it to you this way, because some may make the First Amendment argument, and I understand that argument, but here's how it's not quite the same. Now, if I just as a regular person give my opinion about someone, I say, hey, I think this person is trash. They're not a good person. I don't like them. That's just my personal opinion. If I preface it that way, right? Now, if I'm on CNN, a supposedly reputable news outlet, and I'm an actual quote so-called journalist, and I'm reporting facts and real information, and I got a whole campaign talking about this is an apple. Some are going to say it's a banana, but this is an apple, meaning I'm bringing you real information. I'm not bringing you no false news. I am an authoritative source on news, right? That's what CNN purports itself to be. Same thing with all the other alphabet letter media outlets, your ABC, CNN, CBS, Fox, etc. They say that they are reality. They are real news. And the same thing with newspapers, your Washington Post, Huffington Post. We are real news. We don't publish false information, okay? Now, when you say something like that and you do the exact opposite, well, what is that? I mean, can I say that's fraud? If you say you're going to do one thing, but then you do something else, what's going on? Now, you can say, well, I made a mistake and it was incorrect. But see, you have laws already set up for this kind of thing. This is why when you are watching, or back in the day at least, I think now that's kind of gone out the window because nobody cares about laws anymore, I suppose, in a lawless society. We're not quite lawless, but we're getting there. But anyway, back in the day, you will always hear alleged. Even if you get caught red-handed, okay, you get caught with your feet sticking out of a window trying to burglarize a home, right? The dog then bit you all on your hind parts and everything. But when you get caught and brought down to the station, he allegedly broke into the home, right? Because you are innocent until proven guilty. Although we caught you doing it and you confessed as well, you allegedly did that because I can't say you did it until you get proven innocent or guilty. I can't say anything, right? That's what it's got to be. Now, my opinion can be that you did it, but I can't say that you did it. I got to say allegedly. And if I'm going to give my opinion, I say, I think that he did it. I feel like he did it. It's my viewpoint, my opinion, but they pass off their opinion, their editorializing as fact on these major networks. And it's very dangerous when you have guys, and also they issue threats, or I guess you would say indirect threats. When Reza Aslan, remember the guy from CNN, the cannibal, that guy that literally ate human brain on TV, disgusting. But when that guy says, Rittenhouse has a punchable face, when he says his face is punchable, I mean, to me, that sounds like he wants to punch him in the face. That sounds like he's saying that you should want to punch him in the face too. His face is punchable, therefore you should punch him. So when a journalist says something like that on CNN, that's going to impact Kyle Rittenhouse and his safety when he's out there in the public, because unfortunately, a lot of your normies are going to take whatever a person on CNN says for gospel, and they're going to follow it. We've seen that happen a lot with people going out there attacking conservatives, attacking police officers. When they go on TV and say the police officers are bad and they want to kill black people, when they say that on MSNBC and CBS and CNN, when they say that over and over and over again with no evidence to back it up, by the way, but when they say that, it puts people's lives in danger. People have died behind what the media have done in this country. So Rittenhouse says, you know what? Okay, no more. So now I'm going to start the media accountability project to get them in court and to hold them accountable. That's probably the best way you're going to go about it. Okay, now some are going to say, well, slippery slope, man, because freedom of speech. Nah, because it's much different. Like if you're on CNN and you say something like that and you pass it off as fact, that's different than a blogger just giving his opinion about something. Even me. See, ain't nobody really going to sue me because I don't have money like that. Like you're going to sue CNN because they got big money, right? You're going to sue ABC, CNN, Fox for the same reason. But me, you're going to end up paying more in lawyer fees than you would get from me. You know what I mean? That's how that is. But even me, not being one of these big organizations with a lot of money behind me, I'm going to still say allegedly. And here's my 2 cents. Here's my opinion. This is what I think. Now, sometimes I'm going to not say that, but sometimes it's pretty clear what's going on. Like the whole thing with the predator in California. I mean, that's clear what's going on with that. And I don't think anybody's going to be like, well, actually, you're wrong about that. They would get no support. That'd get thrown out right away. But with a guy like Kyle Rittenhouse, the media were so focused on trying to make it a political thing, trying to push their political narrative. They're so focused on that, they forgot about any kind of integrity. They forgot about legality. They forgot about a thing called libel, slander. Those are real things you can get sued for, and you can, be held civilly liable for, at least. You may not go to the penitentiary, but you will be paying out some monies, right? You will pay out some monies. So, yeah, shout out to Kyle Rittenhouse for this because, enough's enough. The media have done so much damage. I mean, just normies, just talking to regular normies out in the street, and then they echo CNN talking points. Have no idea what it even means. They just say it. Matter of fact, here's an example. Here's a prime example of what I'm talking about as far as a lot of these normies just absorbing. It's like little kids. When you say things around little kids, right? Or when you do certain things, make a little movement, they're gonna copy it. I'm talking about like little toddlers or like babies, because they're just now learning things for the very first time. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to talk. They don't know language. They absorb everything and they copy it. But you got these 55-year-old adults doing the exact same thing. It's like, have you grown up yet? But the media has such a hold on people because they have no other way of receiving the information. Okay, they don't really take time to research on their own and find out facts for themselves. They believe in a certain thing already. Here comes the mainstream media reinforcing it, telling them certain things that's not true. They want to believe it, so they're going to believe it. And then they go out there and they cause a wreck in society as a result. Now, here's a video. You guys may have seen this. I may do a video about this specifically right here. So the caption, shout out to Libs of TikTok yet again. One of the best channels on the internet. If you're not following Libs of TikTok, I don't know what you're doing. You are just kind of late to the party. Libs of TikTok on Twitter. I think on Instagram as well. But anyway, the caption says, it's a caption of what the people said. And the quote from this video says, these conservative Christians need to get the bug and die. This is a teacher in Texas. So let's check it out.
Because we have a political system that will not allow us to happen. We're vaccinating like the flu, which is, flu vaccine if you want, but you don't tread on
Yeah, I think we need to put it. I think it needs to be put
in.
in. That's very
It would have had to have been.
So basically she's saying that everybody should have gotten the vax and it should have gotten the vax early and it's too late now. because now that the damage has been done, they should have been vaccinated early. That's her whole viewpoint right here in the very beginning of this video.
Media. If we had done it immediately, it already be gone. That's what's frustrating.
So hold on, let's back up a little bit. She says that if we would have got vaxxed immediately, like if everybody would have got vaxxed immediately, as soon as it became available, then the virus would be gone. Newsflash, lady, that's not how viruses work. Viruses don't go away. They don't go away. Okay, we got a flu shot. Is the flu gone? No, it's not. Viruses do not go away. That's not how it works. You can't just get vaxxed and have the virus die as a result of the vax. That's not how it works at all. Okay, but she's watching television. She's watching CNN, and they keep talking about vax. So she draws this conclusion that's wrong. This is how the media damages people. Okay, this is not science. This is not reality. This is brainwashing of a fully grown adult woman that's teaching kids probably in high school or something like that. You understand?
That's very
It would have had to have been immediate. If we had done it immediately, it already be gone. That's what's frustrating. The rest of my life is impacted because of politics, because of conservative. I'm telling you, those conservative Christian people, they need to.
I'm going to see my boyfriend. Oh!
So if you didn't hear that, she was like, the conservative Christians need to get the virus and die. And that's something else, though. That's another thing from the media. If you keep watching the media, they have you believe that if you catch the bug, you're going to die. But 99.9999% of people that catch the bug are not going to die. The same as the flu and everything else. But again, you keep watching the media, they got a death ticker, like it's a death toll from a mass shooting or a hurricane or something like that. They got a whole death ticker right here. 800,000 have died from the virus, and it's like it's updating in real time. So when you see that over and over and over again, and you don't know any better, and you want to believe it, and you're just a sheep, just kind of being led however they want to lead you, you believe that. You believe that the reason why the bug is here is because people don't want to get the vax. Meanwhile, the real reason is because China has zero kind of health practices, zero protocols for safety, and they let it out the bag. They got their own people sick first in Wuhan, and then they let it spread around the world. They stopped the travel in China, but not the international travel. That's what happened. It started in the lab, and then it spread to us over here and the whole world. So it's not our fault. Don't blame me for not wanting to get the vax. Blame China for releasing it upon us. It's not my fault that they released a bioweapon and they got somebody sick. You know, it's the dumbest thing in the world, and that's something else. The media has them thinking that the media has them thinking that the vax only works if everybody gets it. So if they got the vax, it won't work because you got to have yours too. It's the dumbest thing. Okay, I got a bulletproof vest, right? I got a Kevlar helmet, so I got mine on. But hey, if you don't wear yours, when they shoot at me, it's going to go straight through. It's going to go straight through because we got to have herd immunity, meaning we all got to have on the same kind of protective gear for any of the gear to work at all. How does it make any sense? It's like some kind of kinetic energy that kind of makes them all work together. Is it a big magnet that has all the big, is it going to be like a big force field that is created? The dumbest thing in the world, but this is what the media keeps saying. So they believe it. They eat it on up. So shout out to Cal Rittenhouse for trying to make a dent in this ridiculous mainstream media that we have. And I think ultimately, through efforts to try and sue them, to get them out of the way, to expose them for who they are, and the fact that people don't really want to see TV anymore. It's kind of old with the commercials and stuff like that. People don't got no time for that. Unless you live in a senior citizens home, or you work in a car repair shop or something like that, you're not really watching CNN. Or unless you work in the airport, you're not really watching CNN. You're gonna be on your phone trying to find alternative media guys like myself and many others. That's what you're gonna find. You're not gonna go legacy media first, because you know it's gonna be fake right away, just blatantly fake. Straight lies. Things that we said right here on this channel 2 years ago, they're now saying are true. But 2 years ago, they would punish us, or try to at least, for saying these things. Remember the whole Hunter Biden laptop tape that was reported by New York Times? Understand this. Pardon me, not New York Times, New York Post. New York Post is the nation's oldest newspaper, if I'm not mistaken. Going back to the 1800s or even beyond that. You're talking about one of the most well-respected outlets in the world. Rupert Murdoch. They reported this story. They put it out. It's a real story. A real paper like that is not going to publish something that's totally false about a presidential candidate's son on the eve of the election. They're not going to do it. The reason why they put it out is because it was real. Now, if you wanted to publish that back in 2020 when it came out, you were getting banned from Twitter. You were getting your stuff shadow banned, all of that. You couldn't do it. But now we know that it was true. Of course it's true because we had evidence. You got a real outlet reporting on it. But you can have all this fake information about the virus spread all over the place and it doesn't get censored. But when we say real things about the virus and the vax and whatnot, we get censored. Oh, speaking about the vax and the virus and lockdowns and mandates. So New York City is going to abolish, I guess that's probably the best word. They're going to abolish their indoor vax mandate very soon. Now, I'm seeing different things here. I'm seeing outlets to say like within the coming weeks or next month. And I keep hearing Kyrie Irving's name mentioned. Now, who is Kyrie Irving if you don't know? Well, Kyrie Irving is the guy that plays for the Brooklyn Nets basketball team. And he got a lot of attention because he does not want to get the vax. And because of that, he was benched. You understand? Because there's a indoor vax mandate in New York City. And since he plays in Brooklyn, he has to have had the vax to go into the building and play. So rather than having them just play away games and no home games, the team benched him for the first few games of the season. Then they said, okay, let's activate you, but only for road games. So he played just on the road, but not in Brooklyn. But now that the All-Star break happened and we're getting close, the playoffs are coming. The playoffs are going to be here before you know it. Now they're saying, oh, within the next few weeks, we're going to release the vax mandate, allegedly. Okay, Eric Adams is on board and a bunch of guys and whatnot are on board in New York City. Now, is there a particular reason for that? Is it because it doesn't work? Well, that, of course, it doesn't work, clearly. I mean, they came out and said that it doesn't work. Everybody got these Paw Patrol and Black Lives Matter and, you know, bandanas and stuff like that over their face for no reason. It ain't nothing but a decoration on your face, causing you to get acne and stuff like that. But different story, I digress. We know it doesn't work, but what's the reason why they're going to eliminate it? Probably because the playoffs are coming up and they want them Nets to go out there and perform very well. Okay, the Nets and the Knicks. So that's what that is. They want Kyrie Irving to be out there for the playoffs because, you know what, they could win a championship. They got a really good team. They made a big trade for Ben Simmons. They got Kevin Durant. They got a bunch of other role player type guys, Patty Mills and not Steph Curry, pardon me, his brother, what's his brother's name? Seth, S-E-T-H-F Curry. They got a lot of good players on the team that could win a championship. So it's probably what happened. The owner of the team or a high-level guy in the team talks to Eric Adams and he's like, look, man, we got a good squad this year. We're trying to win the championship. So what's up, man? Our guy Kyrie can't play. So how about you just get rid of the indoor vax mandate and I owe you a favor? If that happened, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. And also, another thing about that, the vax mandate in New York City is so stupid as far as the indoor vax mandate. And specifically, it's about the Barclays Center, Brooklyn, where the Nets play. Now, the Nets players cannot play in Barclays if they're unvaxxed, right? However, away teams with unvaxxed players can play. So check it out. So if Kyrie, who was not able to play in Barclays as a Brooklyn Net, if he was to get traded to a different team and come back as the away team and play the Nets, he'd be able to play while unvaxxed with the rule still in place. The dumbest thing. The rule makes no sense to begin with, but then that little caveat right there makes even less sense. The whole thing about all the mandates and lockdowns was dumb from the beginning. Dumb from the beginning. The flatten the curve was dumb. The indoor vax mandate, outdoor vax mandate, mask mandate, all that is stupid. It did not work at all. They got a study out that said it didn't work. I think from Johns Hopkins. The study says that the lockdowns and stuff didn't even work. It didn't. So I think that it's high time for all these mandates and whatnot to be gone. If you still got a virus mandate of any kind of sort, any kind of restriction, I don't understand why. If you have anything like that, it's because of red tape and bureaucracy. That's really what it is. And that's why government shouldn't be so big, because when they get big like that, all they do is just make silly decisions. You know, things that make zero sense, that don't help anybody. All they do is just get in the way, and they become inconveniences. For what, though? No reason at all. Yeah, that's right, both of us windshield. The lockdowns had a 0.2% effect on slowing the virus down. 0.2%. Now, was it worth it? All the suicides and all the job loss and everything else. I just read that New York City fired like 1,400 city employees because they were unvaxxed. But now they're going to release the vax mandate for indoor places. If they do it for indoor places, why not for city employees? And if you are a trash collector, you're outside most of the time, right? So why would there be a vax mandate for you? Why would there be a vax mandate for healthcare workers if they're going to remove the indoor vax mandate? Wouldn't indoors be a hospital or something like that? It's so silly. But I think Kyrie Irving is part of the reason why they're going to get rid of that vax mandate sooner than later. It'd be hilarious if on the first day of the playoffs, they remove it. Or like 2 weeks before, so you can get kind of warmed up and, you know, get comfy playing at home. They give him time to warm up, get back with the team at home at least, in a consistent schedule, rather than being on and off, home and away. And then when the playoffs come, he'll be out there in full force, and they're going to go for a championship. You heard it right here first. If the Nets win their championship and Kyrie plays, it's because pressure was probably put on the city to release that vax mandate. Hey, man, money talks. Kyrie Irving is making, I think $30 or $40 million this year? I think $30 million this year from one person. So that's pretty big. And then if he wins a championship or helps win a championship for the Nets, that's more money for New York City from the tickets and the playoffs and going all the way to the NBA Finals. That's really big. 7 games potentially each round. That's huge. That's humongous. So money talks. All this woke, ridiculous crap science walks. How about that? But thank you all for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you like what you're hearing so far, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And what else we got going on? Okay. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me make sure I get. Okay, Ukraine. Hold on. Before Ukraine, I'm going to show a video because I don't want to get straight to the nitty gritty before I show this video. I'm going to show it right now before I forget, matter of fact. Shout out to my man. What's this guy's name? I want to say his name correctly here. Jason Scoop. Have you guys seen this guy, Jason Scoop? You guys got to check him out. Now, the reason why I'm going to put this video up is because of the Truth Social app. Everybody's like, hey, man, get on Truth Social. First of all, I have Android devices. I have an iPad, but I mean, I want the app to kind of take off organically, because the thing about apps, social media apps, when they become popular, it's because it's unique and it's really organic. When Twitter first came out, I remember that 2008, I joined Twitter, and I remember being on MySpace. MySpace was still, in my opinion, that's still the best social media platform ever. I mean, you was up there building whole web pages, learning HTML. I was getting paid to design MySpace pages back then. I got like $400 back in like '06 to do a MySpace page. It was crazy. I knew a guy that had the free MySpace layout website in Suffolk, Virginia. He was eating. He had servers. He had his room filled with servers with the files on it, and he made a killing from the ads that were on the website. But different story. I digress. The whole point is that MySpace was the truth. People abandoned MySpace not because they were necessarily censoring. They made changes that didn't really go over too well with a lot of people, but that wasn't really it. The main thing was, here comes Facebook. They're opening it up to everyone without a college email required. Because remember, Facebook at one point was only for college students. I joined it back then, way back when I was at ODU back in like 05, 06, whenever that was. But anyway, matter of fact, I was at TCC, the community college back then. And my girl at the time goaded me to getting on the platform because she was on there. But different story. We going way back in time, so I digress. The whole point is that at one point it was for college students only. Then they opened it up. So then that really blew up. And then here came Twitter like 06, 07, 08. And it was unique. It had nostalgia because it kind of brought in the AOL with the Yahoo Messenger, and it was on the website. It was different. And had a BlackBerry at the time. It was something different than what was out there already. If there was going to be a MySpace clone, why would I go to a MySpace clone when I already got MySpace? It needed to be something different and unique, and that's what made it popular. That's why Twitter is what it is today. Facebook, same thing. Instagram, same thing. TikTok, same thing. But if you have a clone of an existing website, it's like, why would I go here? What's the uniqueness? I may have one of these clone website pages like a Truth Social or something like that. I may do that, but I don't expect it to necessarily be the next Twitter because you already got Twitter. It needs to be different than Twitter to take off. You can have elements from social media that already exist, but you got to make it be different for it to really take off. And it's got to be organic. It can't just be like, okay, I'm going to go here because I'm exiled from over there, or I don't like over there, so I'm going to go over here. That's my humble opinion, though. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but y'all let me know. But I probably still will get it just because, but will I be active on there? I'm not really sure. We got to see if it's going to be somewhere where it makes sense to be active. You know, if it's Twitter 2.0, then I don't really see the purpose. If they can kind of make it be different and unique in some kind of way, then I rock with it. So that's pretty much what it is. All right. And also, Periscope. Remember Periscope? Yeah, shout out to Periscope. But here is the guy, Jason Scoop, talking about Truth Social because there's been a few bugs with the system. And of course, it's going to happen. You got a brand new app. Everybody's flooding the servers. You're going to have some bugs and whatnot. And I think it's going to be a waiting list. So you might not be able to get on it right away. And he's talking about that whole thing. And he's using the Trump impersonation voice. So check him out again, Jason Scoop. Follow him on Instagram, same name.
Just launched my app, social media app, Truth. Call it Truth Social. And, you know, the haters and losers are saying, oh, well, it's taking time to upload. Look, things take time, okay? It's called Take Time. I'm sorry, I'm not a nerd. Like Zuckerberg. It's a real beauty. Zuckerberg. Apps take time, things take time, right? Look, you could say Jesus, the Christ, he took time, 3 days to come back. But look, we're coming back so strongly because we need to take back the country from this sleepy guy. And Truth Social is the first step. That I could tell you, believe me, so strongly.
That guy is hilarious. The impressions, he does more than Trump. He does Chris Rock and Bill Cosby, a lot of guys. This guy right here is hilarious. Follow him, Jason Scoop, on the Instagram. Fantastic impression artist. Love it. But yeah, what he said, even though he was just making, just joking right there, is right though. It's like, these new apps sometimes take time to really get rocking and rolling. You can't just have a perfect app straight from the beginning, not all the time, right? It's called Take Time, exactly. That was the funniest part to me. It's called take time. I was like, all right, that right there is classic Trump. Classic Trump. Now, speaking of classic Trump and the glorious years we had with him, I don't think Trump would ever have us in a situation like this where we dealing with Ukraine and Taiwan and stuff like that. We would never be right here, ever. You know, you can kind of laugh about the tie and the hair and stuff like that, but he would never have us right here in this weird spot. When we had Trump, we had peace, and you know, he's going there with Kim Jong-un and kicking it, playing golf or whatever. You know, playing with his hair. You know what I'm saying? Stepping across the line, all types of stuff, chilling, talking to ringing the alarm about China rather than Russia, trying to be friendly with Russia rather than being adversarial, because trying to attack Russia makes no sense. Trying to be their enemy makes no sense. We have no problem with Russia. The issue is with China, not Russia. So he was right on point as far as like foreign relation, did everything the way he wanted to do. Now, it may have been kind of clunky. It may have been a little bit off sometimes from the outside looking in, but it was effective. So why does it matter? You know, all that matters is that it got done, right? But now you got that guy Joe Biden in there that nobody respects. This guy is pretty much an empty suit. You got 2 feet in the ground, okay? They're about to just go ahead and sprinkle the dirt on him at this point because it's pretty much a rap. It's a rap city. So nobody respects this guy. So they're going to do whatever they want. It's like having a sub in your class, okay? You got a teacher that you respect, Mr. Smith, Mr. Edwards, Miss Davis, whatever their name is, right? You respect them. You like what they got going on. Here comes the sub. Oh, time to act up. I'm screaming, I'm yelling, doing everything I want because the sub, they can't do anything to me. They're not going to really, I'm going to do whatever I want in this class. I'm going to talk loud, whatever. That's how kids think a lot of times. Not all the time, but sometimes. And it's kind of like that right now with Biden because nobody respects his authority. Who is he to even try to say anything to anybody? He can't even organize himself. He can't even put his pants on properly by himself, in my humble opinion. So who's going to respect that guy? Now, let's talk about Ukraine, right? Let's talk about Ukraine. Now, Ukraine, there's a lot I want to say here. First of all, this is really not our business in the United States. It's not our business. Now, I'm not saying that if you living in Ukraine, that you should be taken over by Russia and you should have no sovereignty. I wish the best for everyone, for all sides, right? I wish the best for those that are in the Far East, that don't want to be part of Ukraine anymore, that are being attacked by the Ukrainian army. And I wish the best for those that live in Ukraine, that want to stay in Ukraine and speak the Ukrainian language and want to be culturally, ethnically, whatever Ukrainian. I get it. However, that's not really our fight to fight in America. Not at all. I don't really understand. We want to be all tough because it's Vladimir Putin. And you got to be tough on him. But where was this toughness when it came to Crimea? It's so weird. Like I'm watching the media and they're talking about the Donbass like it didn't already happen with Crimea. They took Crimea in 2014 and it wasn't really a big problem. It was like, oh, okay, well, there's a lot of Russians there already. They already speak Russian. Okay, so just go ahead and take that. It's the same deal with the Donbass. It's a ethnically Russian area. They speak Russian. They pretty much are Russian over there in that part of the country. A lot of that area is controlled by quote unquote Russian-backed separatists who don't want part of Ukraine. They want part of Russia or autonomous. So why is the outrage so amped up for that particular thing happening right now, but not for Crimea? And something weird happened today. Maybe it's just me. Maybe y'all can correct me. I feel like the story kind of went away. Not totally, but it wasn't as intense as yesterday on the mainstream media. It wasn't as intense because yesterday it was like, man, you about to have nuclear war. It's about to be a wrap, all this, that, and the third. But today it's less of that. Today is kind of just like acceptance. And it's funny because people are saying that Putin is peacekeeping in that part of Ukraine. He's peacekeeping by sending troops and tanks over into Ukraine. But how is that actually peacekeeping? Isn't that called an invasion? Like they said that he was going to invade like last Wednesday. It didn't happen. He quote unquote invaded a few days ago when they said it would happen on the 22nd. well, yesterday, matter of fact, he did invade then. Send the troops in there, and he's in Ukraine. You see, a lot of times what happens with these kind of situations is there'll be separatists fighting a civil war or something like that. And rather than a country like a big superpower invading, like, let's say, for example, Yemen or something like that, America won't go to Yemen and fight against the rebels or whoever the faction is, whoever the bad guys are, but we're going to arm the so-called good guys. That's how you have proxy wars that kind of happen a little bit. That you could kind of have a proxy war like that. Okay, Russia will arm one side, we arm the other side, and then they fight. Or we fight someone because they're backed by the other side. We're not fighting Russia directly, but we're fighting those that they support directly. You see what I mean? We're not going to actually fight Russia directly because that'd be a war going on. We will only do that if they invaded us. Ukraine not going to fight Russia directly. Russia is in the Donbass physically, rather than just sending equipment and whatnot to the separatists. Ukraine not going to fight Russia because they're going to lose that battle. So they've invaded, essentially. Call it whatever you want. It's the same thing. Now, the thing is, they're saying that Putin may go further than the Donbass, which is in the far eastern part of Ukraine, and he may go to Kyiv, which is right basically in the center, the northern central part of the country, right on the Dnieper River, which pretty much bisects the country of Ukraine. And I guess the point is they're going to take the river and then take Kyiv and everything to the east of Kyiv. But I don't understand. They may do that, but I don't know if they're going to do that. And the reason why they may do that is for a variety of reasons. I think the main thing is because they don't want Ukraine to be part of NATO, because they don't like how Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, they have missiles right there because they're part of NATO. They don't like the proximity to St. Petersburg and Moscow that NATO is. They're too close to them. And the whole point of NATO was to protect Europe from Russia after World War II, if I'm not mistaken, like 1948. That was the whole purpose of NATO. But now it's like Russia feels like NATO is being used to intimidate them to get them to bend to political wills. Okay, that's what they feel like. So now you got kind of a clash going on between Russia, Ukraine, the West, NATO, all kind of stuff. But we can't really do anything. I think there was a conflict over what to do. There was going to be this big package of sanctions. So the Democrats, Republicans, they couldn't agree on it. So all they did do was like send a strongly worded letter of condemnation. Like, it's going to do anything. That won't do a thing. There were sanctions imposed when he took Crimea. That didn't help. They're doing sanctions now. That's not going to help. Either you're going to fight them or not. Because they're talking about, okay, Germany have paused Nord Stream 2. All they did is just stop the pipe from coming on. The pipe is there. It's already been built. It's already done. And you have Nord Stream 1 right beside it. So you already got pipelines right there in the Baltic coming from St. Petersburg to like northeast Germany, right by Poland. The pipe was already there. You got two pipes there. One of them is already working and rolling. The other one wasn't yet. But all they're going to do in Germany, in my humble opinion, is turn it on in about a year. Okay, you forgot about the whole thing with Nord Stream 2. You forgot about Ukraine. You forgot about Donbass. You forgot about Kyiv. All right, turn it back on, because Russia provides Europe with 35% of their natural gas, 35% for the entirety of Europe. Not just Germany, France, UK, the whole Europe, going all the way from Ireland, Italy, the Balkans, Greece, everywhere. 35%. So it gets cold in Europe, especially like Germany, Denmark, Sweden, UK, Ireland, France. It gets cold. It snows. So you got to have that gas to be able to get the heat going. Okay. I ain't trying to be caught in Poland somewhere freezing to death because of some kind of political thing that the Americans want to be involved in, because understand this, the Europeans ain't going to help. They're not going to help. If Russia takes the entirety of Ukraine, Europe won't help at all. Why should they? Why should they die over Ukraine? For what? Ukraine's not part of NATO. Are they even in the EU? I'm not really sure they are. I don't think so. So why would they die for Ukraine? Not saying that Ukraine deserves it. Not saying you won't be sympathetic to Ukraine, but why die behind Ukraine? It's just like Hong Kong. You know, I feel for the Hong Kongers. I support their fight, but I'm not going to die for Hong Kong. Are you? I'm not dying for Hong Kong. And how about this? Why is America so concerned with Ukraine's sovereignty and their borders? Look at our own border, wide open. The Trump wide open. You got everything. You got drugs, child abusers, everything coming through the southern border. Okay, just flowing like flowing like water. That's wide open. We could be getting invaded right now, and nobody cares because of some social justice warrior, politically, motivated, soft on crime type thing we got going on. Some political stuff to appease the far left. You're trying to appease the far left at the same time damaging your own country. And then not only is southern border wide open, we also have these laws that are not being enforced. Like I said, the soft on crime situation. So why be worried about Ukraine and put a lot of energy over there when we got our own problems? They deployed troops from America to Poland. Now, if you don't know about Poland, Poland borders Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia, because Russia has like a little piece of it that's like a what they call it, an exclave. As an exclave right to the north and east of Poland, that also borders like on Lithuania. It's right there in the Baltic. So they can launch military action from right there. It's called Kaliningrad, right there in the Baltic. You can also access the Baltic from St. Petersburg, but it's like a gulf that they got to kind of get out of in between Latvia, I think, and Finland. But they can blockade that easily. So they got another one right there in Kaliningrad. They can just access the Baltic from right there. So putting American troops in Poland is strategic. I think right now we're at a base that's right by Lviv, Ukraine, which was part of Poland back in the day. It's like an hour from the Poland border. So no, I'm not trying to send no Americans into Ukraine for them. I feel for you if you're living in Ukraine, but that's not our fight to fight. It is what it is. But something I saw was it was pretty interesting. I saw a poll that said only 60% of Ukrainians want to be part of the EU, or they want to be Ukraine specifically. It kind of reminds me of Nigeria. It's kind of an odd comparison to make, but hear me out. Nigeria is not a country. Nigeria it's a place that was drawn by the Europeans, but it's not really a country. If you go to the far north, it's not the same as the south at all. The north is like it's desert, it's Sahara, it's different people, religion, language is totally different. Southern Nigeria, it's you got the swamps and the Igbo. I think you got the Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa down there. I think the Igbo, they down there. They got Igbo land. You got the oil and stuff. It's much different. It's tropical, whole different situation. Nigeria, depending upon where you are, can be like Egypt geographically, or it can be like, I don't know, the tropical rainforest of Brazil. That's not the same place at all. But they put a line on it and said, okay, you're going to be the same. Same thing with Ukraine. Part of Ukraine was Poland, Lviv. That was part of Poland back in the day, as far as historically. But you go all the way back to like the far, like Kiev and Rus. That's much different. But they put a line around it and said, okay, you're a country. Not everyone agrees with that. I think eventually it'll separate between East and West. But that's been going on for a while. We'll see what happens. But I don't think that Russia's invasion would have. I don't think the invasion of Russia would be the only reason why they would separate if they do separate. You see what I'm saying? So basically, what I'm trying to say is, if they break apart at Kyiv, East and West, it won't be only because of Russia's quote unquote invasion. It won't be that. The same way that West Virginia did not secede only because of the war. There have been a lot of issues with West Virginia and Virginia before the war. they tried to secede before the war happened back in like the 1700s or something like that, because West Virginia is so far away from Tidewater, Hampton Road, Seven Cities, and DC that they were being ignored. Like, all the traffic and economics were happening right in the East Coast, from all the ships coming in, all the trade coming in. That was the economic hub. If you live in today's terms, 8 hours away in Clarksville or Canal County, Boone County, somewhere way out far west, you're being ignored. So like, okay, you know what? Enough of this. All the mountainous places, they just said, we're going to break away from Virginia. They tried and it didn't work before. Then they tried during the war when it made sense to go ahead and secede, and they did it. That's why they left. I was watching this YouTube video talking about, they left Virginia because of slavery. No, they didn't leave because of slavery. They had slaves too. They had slaves longer than Virginia. They had slaves when it seceded into the Union from the Confederacy during the Civil War. And the soldiers from Ohio, from the Union, said, you know what? Okay, check it out. Now you guys have slaves, and that's fine. If they escape, we'll return them to you. They said that to them when it seceded. So that's why, if you know about history, you know the whole thing about the war being about slavery only was false. If it's about slavery only, why am I allowed to secede into the Union with slaves during the war? And I'm told, hey, if they escape, we'll bring them right back to you. Don't even worry about it. But I digress. I'm getting way off track. The whole point is that just because a place has a border and a name does not mean that it's necessarily one place and one people that think the exact same way. They might not want to be in the same place. They may have different cultures and whatnot. That's what's going on. You may see that here in the States. You may see California break off and do its own thing, which would be great for the country, in my opinion. If you had a California country, hey, go ahead and do that. Matter of fact, if you break off and be your own country, California, I'm gonna build a wall right there in Nevada, Arizona, what's that? Idaho, whatever that is. Not Idaho. Is it Idaho right there? Yeah, I'm building a wall along your border. Okay, and if you want to exit, I need that passport. I need papers. No Californians undocumented. How about that? But I'll move on. I will move on to the next topic here. But yeah, Ukraine, what do you guys think? Is it going to be a full-scale invasion? Is it going to be kind of a nothing burger? Like, what's going to happen here? What are we going to do about it? Biden already said there'll just be sanctions. There won't be any boots on the ground. But it's kind of a mixed message, because you say there won't be any boots on the ground, yet we have boots on the ground in Poland right now that are responding to Ukraine. So what is that? I mean, we got boots on the ground right now in Poland. Oh, they're standing by. Oh, okay, standing by. We'll see how that works. We will see how that works. All right. But anyway, let's get to some more here. Now, this story about the trans offender, I don't want to say what he did, but y'all already know if you see it, if you saw it. He attacked a 10-year-old girl in the bathroom back in 2014 when he was almost 18. He was 17 years old, but he was almost 18. Old enough to know better to not do that. He waited in the bathroom, stalked the girl, waited in the women's restroom inside the stall. He hid in the restroom, and when she left her stall, he attacked her in the bathroom. Now, it took years to find the guy, but they finally found him back in 2019, if I'm not mistaken, when they did a DNA test. Well, they took a swab from him, and they matched it to the crime scene from back in 2014. So they found him that way, that he was the guy that did it. Now, throughout the entire time that he was committing crimes other than assaulting a 10-year-old girl, this guy's a long rap sheet, violent felonies, convictions, not just, oh, he may have done this, he may have done that. No, you have convictions, violent crimes. I think even with a weapon, burglary, robbery, assault, all types of stuff. Just a dirt bag, a complete dirt. If you open a dictionary and look up the word sleaze, dirtbag, scumbag, it's going to be him, James Tubbs, right? This guy was a career criminal, probably a dope fiend too. But anyway, when he gets arrested and they identify him as the guy that assaulted a little girl, Now he becomes transgender. Oh, okay, how convenient. So when you get locked up and you get charged with this violent crime on a little girl, now you want to go by Hannah. But the whole time, and all your mug shots, all your 8, 9, 10 mug shots, you were James. Even right now to this day, he's James. Okay? Nothing about him says trans at all. He's James. But anyway, so this guy was captured on jailhouse audio calling his dad, because when you call in the jail, it's all recorded. He's captured on jailhouse audio bragging to his dad about getting a slap on the wrist because he got a 2-year sentence for assaulting the 10-year-old girl. Just 2 years. Now, the reason why is because he was 17 when it happened. And the DA in LA County, Gascon, says, we're not going to charge any person under the age of 18 as an adult. That's a policy he has. Now, what's the actual age you can charge somebody as an adult? I don't know. In Virginia, if you're 14 years old, you can be charged as an adult straight away. You get adult charges. Like if you're 14 years old and you out here carjacking and robbing and killing, you can go straight to the adult penitentiary at 14 years old in VA. Now, Cali, I don't know, but the policy from Gascon's office is to not charge anybody under the age of 18 as an adult. That's a policy. But maybe you might want to change it here for this guy, a violent criminal, known to be a criminal, in and out of jail, assaulting a 10-year-old girl, age 17. Maybe do something different. And not only is he getting a juvenile charge, he will also be housed with juveniles at age 26 with juvenile girls because he's transgender, remember? Now they're trying to talk about, oh, well, he won't have a girl celly. He'd be by himself. Okay. He'll be housed with the juvenile girls, not women, juvenile girls at 26 years old as a male after being convicted, not just charged, convicted of assaulting a 10-year-old girl in the bathroom at age 17, almost 18. Now, Gascon or his office were confronted by a Fox News reporter. Well, not confronted, they got a call because the jailhouse audio came out of the guy bragging, talking about, oh, I ain't got a registered sex offender and I'm going to get out in 2 years. It's a slap on the wrist, blah, blah, blah. I don't got to do nothing. He was bragging about what he did. And he said a lot more things that I did not find or play, but he was really gross about the girl. He was talking crazy about the girl. But anyway, the Fox News reporter called Gascon's office and they're like, oh, well, we didn't know that he said these things. We've not heard tapes before. You're the very first person that has brought us these tapes. We had no idea. But then that was a lie. We knew that was a lie. We knew that they know about what's going on. The audio is recorded. How was it that a Fox News reporter gets the audio, but you guys don't have it? Now, there was a guy from the Gascon office or somewhere like LA County, some person, a guy that works there, he came out on TV and said, they're lying about that because I sent them the audio. He sent it to everybody. He sent it to the parole board. Everybody that could be involved with the case, he sent the tapes of James Tubbs bragging about assaulting the girl. He did that, and he got fired for doing it. So they were lying about that when they said it didn't get it until the Fox News guy called them. Of course they were lying about that. So this guy Gascon, I'm not sure why he's trying to protect this child predator. I mean, I was watching Fox and I got infuriated when I saw the DA's assistant or somebody, some assistant, deputy, somebody from the DA's office. He's talking about, well, our policy had been to not charge anybody under the age of 18 as an adult because they're juveniles. They got life to live. It's like, look, sir, I'm not trying to hear no SJW stuff. I don't want to hear this white guilt or black guilt or Hispanic guilt. I don't want to hear it. That has nothing to do with this guy assaulting a little kid. This guy should get the rope, keeping it all the way funky. If you're going to go all the way there, let's go there. Why talk about being socially conscious and stuff like that for him? They didn't really care. They They wanted to do that because it's what they always had done. They got on TV and lied saying that they never seen tape before. This is the first time hearing the tape. When they were given the tape months earlier by an employee that worked there, because they had it recorded. All your jail conversations on the phone, when you calling somebody or they calling you, whatever, it's all recorded. So they were simply lying about what they were saying. Why? Because Gascon got caught and he's not trying to get recalled. He wants to be reelected. That's why. It's political. California is crazy. California is much deeper than just the doo-doo on the ground and whatnot from San Francisco. It's much deeper than that. The soft on crime stuff, this is what happens. You're going to have guys like this out there just violent and dangerous. Okay. And the drugs make it worse because you got these people that are already crazy getting on these easily accessible drugs everywhere and getting crazier. Okay. If you got a guy that's crazy that is already violent, you put him on PCP, it gets worse. That's California. In Los Angeles, San Francisco, all over the place. It's a mess. We don't tolerate that here. When I first saw the tent cities, I was surprised. I was shocked. I've seen people that are homeless before in Virginia, New York, places like that. You know, I see the homeless outside, but a whole tent city just with trash, that is totally surprising. That is not allowed over here. We don't do that. Okay. Matter of fact, there was a tent city that they found. That there was a tent city by like this by the interstate, but it was hidden. You couldn't see it at all. Okay. I used to always go by there. I never saw it. They had to like peel back layers to find this tent city. And when they found it, they tore it down and it's not coming back. Okay. They don't allow that over here. Okay. You down on your luck or whatever. Okay. I understand. But you can't just be parked out in front of somebody's driveway, cooking your meth and doo-dooing on the ground. You can't do that over here, okay? If you want to do that, then go to the penitentiary, do it in there. How about that? How about that? But yeah, California sucks. If you live there, I'm sorry. If you're living in the good part of California, then great, fantastic. But if you're living in Los Angeles, man, I'll never forget when I went there. I hated it. It was raining and stuff like that too. It looked like a slum. Because I came from like the airport area, pardon me, to like somewhere close to like, where was that, like close to Crenshaw. I was like, man, this is like like some Mumbai. What is this going on? This is in America. These little shanty towns. What's happening? I can't do nothing with it. Too many people, too much going on, too much degeneracy, too much lawlessness, drugs everywhere. No, I'm cool on that. But yeah, so Gascon lied, the office lied to protect a child predator. I mean, I've seen some crazy things. I've heard crazy things, but that right at the very top, protecting him for what reason? Why? Why him? You know, I could see if it was a guy that was just like, you know, he was trying to do good and turn his life around and all he had was like a theft conviction or something like that. But this guy, a career violent, dangerous criminal, hurting kids. That's the when you see a scale of criminality, right? From mild to give him the chair right now, he's above giving the chair right now. Okay, like if somebody was to go ahead and just ice him, if he got iced in the street, it wouldn't be a charge. Remember the whole guy? Remember that guy Gary Plotch? Gary Plotch, there was a guy, well, okay, let me just tell the story. So a kid's karate instructor kidnapped him, took him out of state and was assaulting him. The dad finds out they found the boy and the dad they found the boy and the assaulter, the karate instructor out of town. They bring the assaulter back to town to try him and convict him, right? The dad was in the airport when they brought him in wearing a disguise. And as the offender, the karate guy, walks by him, he's on the phone, like a payphone, right? This is back in like the 80s, on the payphone. and he swings around with the pistol, boom, right in the airport, hits him, dead. He goes to trial and beats the case. Beats it. Killed the man in the airport and beat it. How you going to convict him? This man kidnapped his son, took him across state lines. I think he killed him too. Like, how you going to convict him? That kind of guy is above chair right now. And nobody would disagree with that. Who would convict that man of that? Nobody. I'm not going to convict him. If you told me that story and I'm in the jury pool, I'd be like, man, I don't got to hear nothing. I don't got to hear no more. I've heard all I need to hear. Not guilty. Not guilty, period. Point blank. Yeah, that video was crazy. Gary Plotch. What's his, how do I spell that? Just so you guys, if you've not seen that, Gary, Plauche, Gary Plotch. That was 1984. Yeah. It was crazy. So yeah, that's what that is. But I'll move right along. Thank you guys for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. Definitely appreciate y'all for joining. If you like what you heard thus far, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Did I get everything so far on the list? I got Kyle Rittenhouse and Kyrie, Ukraine. Yeah, I got everything I wanted to get to. Let's go. We got super chats on deck, and then I'm going to get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. I'll get to those in a few minutes. Y'all just hang tight. Get rid of phone boost. Yeah, that ain't going to stop it. That's not going to stop it. That dad was determined that day to go to get his justice, and he got it. Iced him in the airport and beat the case. He got charged for killing the guy. Beat the case. Not guilty. All right. Apu says on the super chat, we're going to talk about magic mushrooms instead. I don't know what you're talking about there. Also, ABL martial law lifted in Canada after 200 arrests. Oh, did they actually lift it so they don't have the special powers anymore? How about, do they have all the mandates and stuff still in place? Like, what's going on with that? Because the whole thing about the protest was all the mandates and lockdowns and things of that nature. So are those things still in place? Also, Apu says ABL, a judge who was a liberal candidate and donor, denied bail to Tamara Lynch, Native woman and convoy organizer. Meanwhile, man who drove car into pro-trucker supporters in Winnipeg, injuring 4, bailed. Of course, that's how it is. You know, at this point, I think a lot of these court systems and definitely politics and the media, they're one-sided. They favor people that are liberal. You know, if they do things that they like, then they get all kind of slaps on the wrist and praises. Also, Apu says Canadian government and justice system corrupted by World Economic Foundation or Federation. In Parliament, an MP asked about WEF, got censored. Also, Native Mohawk woman elder on motorized scooter got trampled by mounted police, got injured but survived in Canada. ACAB, hashtag NWA was right. Disgraceful RCMP. Well, you know what? I'm going to say something about that right quick because I know what you're saying, but you don't mean to say F all police. But in that case, you got to say F them. Okay? The Canadian police right there were terrible for what they did, trampling that lady. But that's not all police all over the world. Just like in China, they got some bad police too. Security guards and whatnot, bad military, bad government, of course. But here is a little bit different. And I think the reason why it's different here in the States is because we have Second Amendment rights. If we didn't have that, it'd be a little bit different for sure, in my humble opinion. Also, Apu says, God bless J6 MAGA Patriots in D.C. jail solitary. Philip Blacks, I appreciate what you do. Thank you for that. Thank you to Apu who says, ABL, I think the glasses make you look distinct. Have you ever worn contact lenses? Have you ever considered laser eye surgery? Do you wear sunglasses? Those are good questions, actually. So, okay, check it out. I've been in glasses all my life, except for a few years where I had contact lenses. So I did wear contacts. I wore contacts like probably when I was in high school up until like, how old was I? I was like 15 when I started wearing contacts, maybe like 16, 15. And then I stopped wearing contacts in my late 20s because contacts are not healthy for your eyes because you're depriving your eye of oxygen. See, I've had actual surgery on my eyelid before, and it's not fun. And I was getting things called styes on my eye, and I was getting these styes, and also I had a chelation. I had surgery for a chelation on my eyelid. It was like, you ever seen Rockman when he got hit by Lennox Lewis, and he had that big I'm gonna show you guys what I'm saying. This is not how it looked, but that's how I felt on my face. You understand what I'm saying? Like right on my eyelid. Hold on, let me go ahead and just, yeah. So that's how it felt. Let me put it on the screen. It felt like that on my eyelid. Now it wasn't that big, obviously. It was like the size of like a pebble, like a tick or something like that on my eye, which is pretty big for my eyelid. It was under my eyelid, so I had to get it removed at an ophthalmologist that had eye surgery or surgery on my eyelid. And the styes and the chelation came from depriving my eyes of oxygen and low light. So even now to this day, I can't really be in low lighting settings too much. Like if I'm inside my house, I got to have lights on or dark. I can't do dim. Like where I'm at right now, I have 1100 lumen lights here above me, and I got 2 big spotlights, and I got one more right there. So there's always a bunch of light coming in. So contacts I don't wear anymore because they damage your eyes. They deprive it of oxygen. It's not a good look. So I prefer glasses all day long. That's what I do. And as far as sunglasses, I have lenses that transition. So these right here would transition. So when I go outside, they'll get darker if it's sun out. But when I'm inside, they are not dark. So that's kind of how that is. But yeah, your eyes are very important. Please protect them. You don't want to have cataracts or any kind of crazy stuff like that. And as far as laser eye surgery, I'm not sure. I've heard horror stories. I know a guy whose cornea fell off because he had eye surgery, like LASIK eye surgery. So I don't want to be on the stream and then my cornea just falls off midstream. That's not the wave at all. Okay. And if your cornea falls off, what happens? Do you go to the ER? Can they reattach that in the ER? I'm not sure they can. Oh, and also as far as lights are concerned, I always do daylight lights. I don't do soft yellow or nothing like that. That makes it even worse because it's like, it's also dim. Even if it's bright, it's kind of hard to explain. All right. It fell off. Yes, Technologic. His cornea fell off. It fell like a contact would fall off. It fell off. I don't know how or what, but it fell off. Yeah, so that's pretty much what that is. But you got to understand, I've already had surgery like on my eyelid, and I had a bunch of styes and a bunch of problems and headaches, and I don't want to go through a surgery that might actually damage my eyes for real. But I move on. Shout out to App who says, growing up, what music did your mom and dad like? My parents always listen to like old school stuff. Like my dad, my dad will always play like stuff from the 70s and whatnot. He was the kind of guy that was like stuck in the 70s a little bit. Had some of that old 70s slang. Yo, jive. He would say something like that. Yo, jive turkey every now and again. You know what I mean? That was him. Just old country guy, West Virginia, you know. But mom would listen to like more modern stuff, I would say. Like smooth R&B, that type of thing. Unifier TV says, yo, ABL, God bless you, sir. My greatest media inspiration. I stepped up my game majorly because of you. By the way, thoughts on Royce White? Now, I'm not sure who Royce White is. Let me Google it right quick. Okay, running for Congress. I've not heard too much about him. What is he, like a MMA fighter? I'm not sure who he is. I'll check him out. But yeah, shout out to him though. If you can unseat Ilhan Omar, that'd be great. That'd be perfect. All right. Yeah, not disco music. Nah, he was not in no doing all this number. He wasn't doing that. He would listen to like Dad would listen to like the Temptations, Five Heartbeats, what not Five Heartbeats, the Temptations, what else? That kind of stuff from like 1975, 74, you know, that kind of thing. Not even 80s music, not even like Michael Jackson or nothing like that, not even Prince, 70s stuff. That was his wave. Okay. Thank you to Apple again, who says, may God bless ABL listeners going through hard times. I hope God provides you with the help and resources you need. Please talk to clergy for counsel. Right on. Oh, and also, Granddad was like that too. I'm the same as them, because even now, I listen to like music from back in like the 90s when I grew up. That's my favorite music. It's like 90s stuff. 80s and 90s, that's my wave. But my granddad was into like, he would listen to like Beach Boys and stuff from in the 50s. Like that was Granddad. In the big red Lincoln car, the big boat Lincoln, Beach Boys, just old school stuff. Do the Twist. That was his wave back when he was around kicking. And Dad was listening to like, you know what I mean? Old school black R&B where everybody had an afro. James Brown. He loved James Brown. That was his guy. James Brown. That was Granddad's guy too. James Brown. Loved him. Loved James Brown. They were big fans of James Brown. Oh yeah. Like it wasn't even the game. Like James Brown to them is like how Drake is today to some of the youngins. Can I solve a Rubik's Cube? Can I juggle? These questions? No, I can't actually. Thank you to Farner Faye, who says, Vaxman disappearing in New York reminds me of the Delta CEO calling out the government due to losses. Yep, same thing. So the Delta CEO came out and said, look, man, check it out. We got to get staffed. You know, these airplanes are not being able to be staffed because you got this 10-day quarantine. You got mandatory testing, and if they test positive, they got to miss 10 days. They got to miss a mandatory 10 days. So check it out. Cut it down to 5 days, and we're good to go. And they did it the next day. Money talks. Money does talk. You know, one thing that I can say is all these protests and whatnot, the ultimate thing that talks is money. Point blank, period. It's always like that. All right. Let me see. Oh, yeah, Motown, of course. Motown was the main thing that was on. Isaac Hayes, Al Green, all of that, you know. So let's go to the next one here. Thank you to F.A. Ranger Xbox, who says, if your mask does not work in the gas chamber, it would not work outside the gas chamber. Someone taught me that. Exactly. There you go. There you go. Both versus Windshield says, hey, Justin Castro, a.k.a. Turd O, removed the Emergency Powers Act just 4 hours ago, pardon me. Only 8 days late. Congrats, truckers. Well, hey, shout out to y'all in Canada. Thank you to Farner Faye, who says, you read my mind. I was thinking of MySpace earlier. I learned coding thanks to MySpace. They need to bring that HTML so the kids have something to do. Yep, I'm with you. But you know the way, it probably a bunch of hacking going on now with the HTML because it didn't get so advanced. But back then, MySpace was the wave. It was the absolute wave. And I knew guys I was doing like animated GIFs for. Like back then you had the little profile picture. It could be an animated GIF. I was putting like little party flyers right there that was like kind of chopped up and animated. It was a whole different, it was an experience. What we got right now is cool, but MySpace was the king. But unfortunately, I think MySpace could not translate to mobile. So that's what that was. Ian Kenny says, Daily Mail genetic match discovered in the virus's spike protein match genetic sequence by Moderna researchers. 1 in 3 trillion chance develop code naturally. Thank you to Barry Drake for the gift donation. I appreciate you for that. It's like a gift emoji. Thank you for that. Thank you to Farnham Faye, who says, missed the last few live streams. Did you cover the new queer inclusive stuff that they're throwing in pre-K? Got books on how to make a baby. I've not seen that stuff. It's kind of, you know, I ain't gonna say kind of. It's just too much. And this is what I talk about when I say, if you give them 1 inch, they'll take all the miles all the way to the sun. That's how they do. That's how they operate. Kaya's Parchment says, Trump said that's the biggest peacekeeping force ever. Quote unquote peacekeeping. when we had a run in Russia with Syria, our forces slaughtered the Reds by the hundreds. Tom's channel says the Ukraine under Russian control before was starved out. Maybe do some research on the potato famine of Ukraine, where the only way Ukrainians ate was by secretly growing potatoes. Well, wasn't that like under communism? Is that still going to be the same way today or no? And here's a question. Why do you have separatists trying to go back to Russia if it's like that? I mean, I'm just asking the question. I feel like what's going to happen is they're going to separate because some want to be part of Russia and some don't. So how is that really? It's like a 60%. There's a 60% desire in Ukraine to be part of EU and Russia and NATO and stuff like that. So how about the other 40%? What are they going to do? Chris Blanton said, I went to the mall the other day and there was a virus testing and vax area taped off in the parking lot, but no one was there taking it. Of course not. Ain't nobody getting that. Ain't nobody got time for that. This bogus thing. Oh, and the Queen Mother, Queen Elizabeth, has the bug at 95 years old. So check it out. If she does not get sick at all, meaning very ill or kick the bucket, if she's okay after this, you know it's bogus. 95 years old with the bug and she's fine. And they probably got her on all the IVM, all the HCQ, all the things that whatever they said you can't take, they're going to take for themselves. Just like, what was that? I think it was IVM. They said it's horse paste, it's horse dewormer, but they took it by the hundreds in Congress. But you can't have it. Okay, they got the cure, but you don't. Well, we have it, but they want us to have it because it's too much money. It's a lot of money in the treatment rather than the cure. Didn't your man, who was that? Was it Chris Rock that said that? It's a lot of money in the treatment, not the cure, though. Fauna Face says AOC has officially lost her mind. Thought she was cray-cray before. Ice water, bruh, really? Next thing she should do is waterboard herself. New York, this is who you keep voting for. Y'all gone. Now, I've not seen that. Ice water, what happened with AOC and the ice water? I don't know what's going on. Let me look it up right quick. Okay, let's watch this video right here. And okie dokie, let's see what's going on. So here's a video from Benny. Shout out to Benny Johnson. And the caption says, AOC plunges head into bowl of ice water. This is the future of the Democratic Party. And in parentheses, also, I'm happily married and do not want to date AOC. Okay, let's check it out. Let's get a little bit of sound here and get it rocking and rolling. And the caption says, okay, so no lie, I've been very stressed out lately. And today I found myself staying in a stressful mental pattern that was just creating more stress for myself. I wanted to interrupt that. Riley and I, it's probably her boyfriend, right? Her man friend or whatever she wants to call him. Riley and I read previously that dunking your face into a bowl of ice water can be a way of redirecting by forcing your body to do a kind of reset of your parasympathetic or parasympathetic, probably, nervous system. So I'm going to try it. So he put the water bowl with ice and scooped it out right before dunking. So the water did have ice in it, but it's just cold without ice right now.
Ready when you are.
Okay. 5, 4.
Okay.
Good job.
What is this? Waterboarding? Is that what we're doing?
Am I supposed to do it again?
Yeah, you're supposed to keep doing it.
Really?
Yeah.
How long?
Like multiple sets.
Okay.
Go for as long as you can.
And she says more here, but I must say it worked. Turns out dunking your head into freezing cold ice water is a pretty good way to redirect. Hope this helps someone.
3.
Okie dokie.
2, 1.
But you're not even really doing it though. It's like, hold on. You're kind of like halfway in. Go all the way into the bowl. Like have your ears submerged in the bowl. You know, you didn't get your hair wet. That's so 0 out of 10. 0 out of 10. You know, matter of fact, how about this? How about just pour the cold water over a rag while you lay down, right? Wouldn't that be better? That'd be a real big shock to your system right there. So how about that? Yeah, he white. He white. Shout out to Mitch Conner for that. Yeah, but he white. AOC, I don't know what you got going on, but you got to tighten up. You definitely got to tighten up because that's not it. Okay, I'm not finna waterboard myself. I'm cool. But hey, if you want to do that, I say go all the way forward. Put your head, go ears deep in the water. You understand? Put it in one of them baptism pools. How about that? She said the ice was removed before she put her head into the water. So it was there, but it wasn't. But do you believe that? It probably was lukewarm water at best. All right, let's get to some more here. Farner Face says opinions of Tulsi at CPAC. Also, Dr. Oz over here running for Senate. I don't know who to vote for because from what I'm hearing, both he and the other guy rhinos. That's a good question as far as Dr. Oz. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. But Tulsi Gabbard being at CPAC, how can I say this? CPAC is Establishment Central. It's not really like a breakaway type of thing. They're trying to brand it as something cool and whatnot, but it's a bunch of guys that's like 65 years old wearing suits. It is what it is. You know, I've not gone to a CPAC. I don't really plan on going. It's not really my wave. You know, if you enjoy seeing the latest Brooks Brothers suit or whatever the elite guys wear or whatever the DC guys are wearing, go to CPAC. It's right there in DC. It ain't really. Matter of fact, I think they moved it this time because before it was right in DC. Then they moved it to Florida. But it's not really. They're trying to rebrand, but it's still the same old fogies that be at CPAC. It is what it is. Both versus Windshield says Germany went full woke and got rid of the nuclear power plants. Now they get 30% of their energy from Russia. The Green Deal is from communists who use coal. There you go. Farner Face says, I've noticed they barely show Fauci anymore. If they do, it's for like 10 seconds on a news clip. This just in, the cure for the virus was the midterms. Yep. That's a good point because at one point, it was wall-to-wall Fauci. Just like your man, what's his name? The creepy lawyer, Avenatti. You would see him every like 5 minutes. He was on every channel. He did like 100 interviews in like a day. You understand? He was everywhere. But then they threw him away and they put him in the penitentiary. With Fauci, same thing. You see him to stoke fear about the bug. But now that the bug is over because the midterm's coming up, he's done. You won't see him no more. He's finished. He's not going to be doing no more Reading Rainbow, Sesame Street, podcasts, none of that. He's not going to be the media darling anymore because he's now useless. Farnafe also says, if this was my country, pedos and similar offenders wouldn't have any rights. F your rights. Take them back. Take them to the back. Send in the firing squad on site. Hey, man, I can't argue that one. Take it to, and I'm going to tell you the name up. I'm sorry, but it's not my fault blaming the white man. Misu DeWeese, who says, this case makes my blood boil. These New World Order DAs need to be stopped. I almost said something else. It needs to be stopped. That's correct. Take it to Duke Luke, who says, we need some Texas oil ASAP. I agree. Josh Foss, thank you for your donation, Josh Foss. Thank you to Farno Faye, who says, shout out to the black community for seeing through people like Roland Martin and Amanda Sales calling out the BS. Can't end racism by staying racist. That's right. Josh, again, thank you for that. Thank you to Santo Bartez, who says, it seems the U.S. trucker convoy could be turned into another FBI CIA psyop to entrap and arrest when people like January 6th. I hope not. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. And thank you to Caius Parchmus, who says, why do leftists marry white men but push racism? I don't know. They always do that. It's an old thing, though. That's been going on for a very long time, years and years and years. Like a lot of the black supremacists, they always get married to white women. You see that all the time. It's so common. It's not even really funny. A lot of the, Don Lemon married to a white man. They always do that. I don't really, I'm going to say this. Your Don Lemons and Jonathan Capehart, all these people, they did not grow up like me. You understand? They feel like they are above guys like me and guys that I grew up with. So they look at the condition of us that come from the hood. Not all of us, but some of us that live in the hood, that come from the hood. They see that condition and then they feel guilty. It's white guilt. So they want to blame the white man. That's all. They blame the white man and they blame the system rather than just saying, hey, do something for yourself, tighten up, bootstrap. Rather than saying that, they say blame the white man because they feel guilty about us being right there. So they find a reason to excuse what's going on in the hood. That's what it is. They don't really believe that they're stopped by the white man. They think that you're stopped by the white man. It's a class thing. I'm better than you are, and I know why you're not where I'm at. So here's the reason: white man, white man, white man. That's what's going on. It's a never. You see it all the time. You rarely see hood guys out there with a Black Lives Matter sign. You rarely ever see that. It's always the suburbanite who is ignorant. And I'm not saying everyone that comes from the burbs is ignorant, not at all. I'm saying the suburbanite who is ignorant, who feels guilty, who wants to be liberal and progressive. They go out there with a sign, Black Lives Matter, hands up, don't shoot. They're helping, they're doing good in their mind, in their eyes, but in reality, they're not. They're helping Black Lives Matter get a bunch of money. They're helping the leader, was that Patrice Cullors, get a big mansion. They're helping that. They're helping her get a plane and some more and some furniture for her house and a vacation to Hawaii or something like that. They're helping that part, but they're not actually helping the community. They'll go to a place, right? Firebomb it, destroy it because Black Lives Matter, but they say they want to help the black community. Well, check it out, though. You came to this community and destroyed it. It's a black community, so how is that really helping? ACAB, Black Lives Matter. At that point, their mind is gone because they feel like they're doing the right thing, although they're not. Frank Des says, saying that AOC is competent congressperson is like saying Vlad the Impaler was a humanitarian. There you go. I agree with that. I agree with that. And back to Tulsi right quick. Tulsi is a leftist, but also establishment. She's on the Council on Foreign Relations. I'm not sure why anybody thinks that Tulsi is like kind of conservative or kind of on the right. Not really. Look at her voting record. Look at when she was on the debate stage during the campaign last time in 2020. She was saying pretty much everything the Democrats were saying. Abortion and gun control, all of that. So I'm not sure what she can say that'll actually be helpful to us on the right. She said some things that make sense, but anybody can do that. Biden can do that. That does not make him a conservative at all or a friend to us at all, in my opinion. A dino, a dino, but also a rhino. You understand? Like, man without a country, kind of like in no man's land to a certain extent, but really, she's like a center leftist. That's all that is. Shout out to my man, Andre Hatchet, for the donation. Appreciate it for that, boss. Thank you, man. Yeah, okay, yeah. And also about Tulsi, she looks decent, I suppose. That's the whole thing with your man Trudeau. That's why he's in power, is because he looks nice to the ladies out there in Canada that wanted to vote for him. Not all, but a lot of them, they love him. If not for, okay, I'm gonna say this, but don't nobody get triggered. Please don't get triggered. I'm just giving you the reality. In America, at least, if not for women voting, we will always have conservative people in the White House. Always. Always. So it is what it is. Take it how you want to take it. Take it to Gemma 2021 who says, greetings from Alaska, ABL. You keep doing you, brother. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Thank you. And to go back to the whole thing about women voting, if women didn't vote, you would have conservative guys as president all the time, but you would not have conservative guys as mayors and all of that everywhere. Because you got minority groups that want to vote liberal a lot. Like, let's say, for example, Baltimore, Maryland. It's always going to be a Democrat mayor. It's not going to be anything other than a Democratic mayor. Because you got so many Democratic voters in there, men and the women, they're going to vote Democrat it'd be Democrat, Democrat, Democrat. And in that case, it's like 95% of the women that vote Democrat and 85% of the men that vote Democrat in a place like Baltimore. So it would be less Democrat voters with just the men, but it would still be Democratic voters. But nationally, it would be always conservative presidents. All right. Hey, it's a fine line, but I got to be real. But again, in different parts of the country, it'd be different. That's it. The data says that, not me. I'm not just giving my opinion. The data says that. But then again, if there was a block on women voting, there would be a push to get that going. So if the Democrats were for women voting, then they would get voted for a lot more. So, you know, it's always a balance it's always a balance in that you got to do. All right. The truth hurts, but the truth heals. That's right. But it's time for the calls. You guys on the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. And there's also an email in the description box to call in if you want to do that. If it doesn't work, it's not my fault. Please blame the white man. Let's go ahead and get into it. Make sure everything's rocking and rolling here. We're good to go. And let's go ahead and get it rocking. Omicron. Yeah, Omicron. The Omarion, that was nothing. Totally nothing. Okay, I got already. See, look, Skype. Messing up already. Go ahead and restart. Let's try that one more time for Skype. Hey, it's not my fault. Please blame the white man for Skype not working properly. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, we're back. The number to call, there we go. 262, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Jesse. How you doing tonight, ABL?
I'm great, man. Can't complain about yourself.
Not too bad. Hey, I was just wondering, what do you think is going on with all this talk about World War III, this and that? I mean, do you really think it's going to escalate that quickly? Because I've been hearing that Putin is really just, it's kind of a Crimea Part 2.
It is. It's Crimea Part 2. It won't be anything from that. I don't know why there's talk about World War III. I don't understand. Not for Ukraine. Now, if they were to take Germany or UK, that's different, but not for Ukraine. No, that's not really going to make a difference, in my opinion.
Right? Yeah. Because I believe it was you that was saying that it's the Danbos River area.
Yeah, the Dnieper, I think.
Okay, yeah. Well, I got you.
Right.
All right. Well, yeah, I was just wondering if you had anything to add on that from last time I heard you speak, because I've been paying attention to other podcasts as well.
Yeah, I think ultimately it's going to kind of go away because the news is not really too hot anymore. He done already pretty much went into Ukraine with tanks. So, I mean, what now? I think it'll be the next story. Some boy falling down the well or some cat stuck in the tree. They'll move on from this story eventually.
Yeah. I just hope you're right, man. That sounds good, because Putin's a very smart man, and that's all I got for you.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
All right. Have a good night.
So I'm reading the chat here. They're saying if he takes Ukraine, Germany will be next. It's like, really? You take Germany? Why? What's the purpose? Why would he take Germany? That made no sense. Ukraine makes sense, but Germany, come on. 601, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, ABL. This is Lucy from Ohio. I'm just here with my 9-year-old daughter. She wanted to say hi. Hi.
Hello.
Say something. Seems like she's getting a little bit nervous, but I had called a while back about her being uninvited to her birthday party because of not getting the shot. So it turns out that the people who had the shot and were uninviting people did get COVID, and she did not. So now they're saying you can come to the party, just wear a mask.
So their plan clearly didn't work. So it wasn't even no point. I mean, really, you probably dodged the bullet by not going. So joke's
Right.
on them.
Exactly. Well, you're doing a good job, ABL, and keep up the good work. We'll call next time.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate y'all.
Bye.
All right. Shout out to all the young callers calling in. I appreciate y'all for doing what you do. All right. Let's get to some more calls here. Let's go to 786 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Mr. Anthony Brian Logan, how are you, sir?
I'm great, man. How about yourself?
Oh, doing good. A new COVID survivor. That's me and my wife, all two of us.
Well, congrats about that.
Yeah. Well, the irony of it is we learned that I don't know how they give these one-size-fits-all answers to COVID. I guess I'm being sarcastic, but my wife got it. It was like a bad cold for her. Me, unfortunately, because I'm asthmatic and have type 2 diabetes, I believe it or not, had gotten the Pfizer jab and just a few days earlier, and I had to go to the hospital because I contracted COVID and was developing pneumonia. But thankfully, they were able to treat me and get me back home.
Well, that's good.
That's my case.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good thing.
And I had another friend who contracted it around December, and I saw him just a few days ago, and he said, I had absolutely no symptoms at all. The only problem I had was being bored staying at home for a 14-day quarantine.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I mean, that's what happens. It's affecting everybody differently and all. And so that's the thing. Everybody's different. You need to talk to your doctor. Hopefully you have a personal physician and do all that, because how many people are personally treated by Dr. Fauci? I mean, let's be honest.
Nobody.
Yeah, very few, if any. But at any rate, too, you're right about one thing, sir. It shows you're a genius, that money really does talk, because that's probably one of the two reasons. And Justin Trudeau, I saw on the video from Sky News Australia online, that he did lift that mandate, but he's still kind of like, but just remember, if you misbehave kind of attitude. But the thing about it is, one of the leverage factors was, he was getting sued. One of the premiers of one of the provinces of Canada was suing, and Civil Liberties Association suing. But I understand that Canada had a huge run on their banks, and something like 20% of the Canadian population pulled all their money out.
Oh, really? Is that true?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, something like that. It was a Salty Cracker that reported that. I want to confirm it. But if that is the case, let's say for the sake of argument it is, I mean, that's going to have a big impact on Canada, any country's economy, if 20% of the people pull their money out of the banks. And, that may be one thing that pressures them going back. And another thing with money is with Russia, because, it actually comes from the sale of oil. Because, there's talk about Trump that Putin didn't dare invade Ukraine, for 4 years under Trump, which is true. One of the reasons why is because Trump helped us, produce a lot of oil. He was a big friend of our oil production. We became the first time the United States had exported oil in 70 years. And the thing about it is, with all that flow of oil out in the market, and Russia's economy was heavily dependent on the sale of oil, is that we have more oil out there, was a lesser price, and Russia had a lesser share of the market. Now in comes Biden. XL pipeline killed. So much of our production, trying to get the country to go green, listen to his wokey advisors. And what happened is, now Putin had a chance to have a larger share of the oil market, and oil's now at a higher price. And now it's helping him to get the funds to fund his war machine to going into the Ukraine. I mean, I understand Biden now is trying to use the same sanctions that Trump used against Putin, but you don't have the leverage now.
Exactly.
And these sanctions, along with the others that some of the European countries are putting on Putin, it's almost like trying to sink a battleship with a BB gun.
Right. It's going to be ineffective. Like, they're doing the sanctions to say that, okay, we did something, but they know it can't do anything because he has leverage. He has all the oil, and they need the oil. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's going to be ultimately fruitless. Yeah. And just a quick thing. I know the State of the Union is next week. I think it's Tuesday. Yeah. March 1st. Yeah. And I know I put in the super chat, and I've
It's an associate of yours, Mr. Jericho Green.
Yeah.
No offense to you, but I would love to have him do the response to the State of the Union address.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I think that would be so awesome.
No doubt, man. Well, thank you for the call.
I know you got 10,001 calls behind me, so I'll go ahead and let you go.
All right, thank you for the call. I appreciate it.
Sure thing.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Good call here. I may stream that. State of the Union if I'm able to. Maybe. I don't know. Some of those things get kind of long, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right. Let me get to the next one here. Let's go to 479. You're online. Am I speaking to?
Yeah, this is Andrew Stockton from Arkansas.
All righty. What's going on?
Hey, Brian. You're not the Logan from Marvel, are you?
Hey, man, I can't confirm. I can't confirm or deny that. We'll leave it right there.
Well, I have a question. I actually have a disagreement with you on the virus. You said that it'll stay here forever. I do agree with you on COVID. It was engineered that way. I think it's here to stay because the Democrats want to use it for power. But when it comes to other viruses, say like polio or what's the other one? The one that people were bleeding from their eyes. I forgot the name of it. But you don't see any of that anymore. Why is that? Because it's
you do
destroyed,
see,
right?
No, you do see polio. It's as a different name now. I forget what the name is called, but you also see polio. It's called some myelitis or something, but it still exists. It's just not as prevalent as it was.
Is it like a mutant strain then, or
it's a different name?
Is it something that was muted, or just a different name?
Different name.
But the one where people were bleeding from their eyes, you don't see that very. I think that was wiped out.
What is that? What is that virus called?
I'm trying to remember. It came from Africa. It is that river, and it was named after that river in Africa.
Wait, you talking about Ebola?
Ebola, yeah.
Ebola is still around. What you mean? Like that Ebola scare like last year. It's just not here.
Well, yeah, but you don't hear nothing about it.
Well, you don't hear about it because it's not here. It's over there, but it's not here. It still exists. It's just not in America. It was always in Africa. It really didn't come to America at all, but it's definitely in Africa. Just like malaria. Like malaria been around for forever. You don't hear about malaria here really, but you hear about it in Africa.
What about cholera? I haven't heard anything about cholera.
Cholera had a deadly cholera outbreak in Haiti after the earthquake because the UN peace troops came there and they set up a septic tank. They came from India or somewhere, and they were using the bathroom, and then the septic tank broke and they got into the water. The cholera outbreak killed more than the earthquake.
Now that I have heard that. Yeah, you're right. Okay, well, some of them I just haven't heard much about them. I just figured they were viruses just kind of faded out.
Viruses don't go away. That's what I'm trying to say. Like it don't go away. They may not be necessarily as prevalent in a particular place, but they don't go away. They still exist. And vaccines don't get rid of viruses at all. It just you might be able to kind of ward it off maybe, but it don't eliminate viruses. It's not how it works.
I've heard of it. Like we should remember that they existed, and then prepare in case they come back because they could always come back. But I thought some of them had been just kind of burned out, like they fade away.
No.
Because I know Trump had said that it would COVID would eventually away. I think it would have gone. No, I wouldn't say completely gone, but at least it would have been out of the what do you call it? The fatality rate would go down. But like it is now, the fatality is definitely going right. Like Omicron is a nothing burger, and the one that's after that is a nothing burger.
Well, the fatality rate that's been fabricated because we've heard stories about all over the country, not just from me or anybody else, but from doctors and nurses. They'll say that okay, if you die. Matter of fact, there was a video of a woman saying it on TV in Chicago. I think she was like some kind of government official in Chicago, and she was talking about how everything is listed as a virus death, even if it's not. Like, let's say you die a motorcycle accident and you test positive for the virus, you'll be a virus death. You see what I'm saying? So when those add up like that, it's artificially inflating the death toll from the virus.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen where people were written down as like car wrecks, and they mark them down as COVID deaths, even though they tested positive, but it was actually a wreck that killed them. You know what I mean? But they're still going to mark it as a COVID death. I've seen a lot of fraud like that going on.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, I have a testament. I've been around people that had COVID. I, too, am a diabetic. I, too, take a lot of insulin, and I'm a cardiac patient. I have never gotten sick. But I take a lot of zinc. I take a lot of vitamins and stuff. I stay healthy. I walk. I've never been obese. I think well, of course, you know they don't want them to do that, but if they were to tell people, get in shape, stay healthy, you have a better chance of surviving. I never got sick, so I don't know what the deal is. Why can't we start doing that with people? Hey, stay healthy.
Well, you can't do that because that's called fat shaming, and that's not very nice. That's not very American. You can't do anything like that,
That's true. That is true. But I love the fat shame.
I'm right there with you, man. Like, hey, if you weigh, if you're the size of a baby grand piano, lose weight. You'll be much better for your life.
There's a video. I don't know if you want to pull it up, but it's a guy that's in a four-wheeler. He's driving a four-wheeler. Oh, man. I saw it on his education today, actually. And he had to weigh 400 pounds. He's on the back end of that four-wheeler. He could not get it up. I about died laughing. You're not going to get out of that hole. You're just not. I mean, the two wheels are up front in the air, and his butt is in the water.
Yeah, that ain't getting up, man. Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Sure. You have a good day.
Same to you. Okay, so the new name for polio is called acute flaccid myelitis. That's MYELITIS, or AFM for short. Yeah, all these viruses ain't going nowhere. The plague still exists. The plague was just very rampant back in Europe because of the way they were living. Throwing all your bowels outside of the window and letting just be in the streets, and you got rats and everything and spreading it. It's a whole big mess. And that's they're saying that it could be a plague outbreak in LA because of all the human waste and the rats are down there. You see what I'm saying? They found a rat that had the plague in it in like New Mexico somewhere. So there can be a plague outbreak. It still exists. You got to have the right conditions for that kind of virus to really spread rapidly the way that it did back in Europe whenever that happened a long time ago. Okay, that's kind of what's going on with that. So yeah, these viruses still exist. Viruses don't go nowhere. All you could do is just try to mitigate some of the damage. You could do vax, you could do medication, you could do certain kind of food, certain kind of way you live, hygiene, all of that to prevent it. Right? That's what that is. All righty, Les, what's happening? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, maybe I'm messing up here. Let's see if it's messing up or if it's her. All right, let's get to the next one. 360, you're the line I'm speaking to? Okay. Skype, come on, man. The white man is really just trying to hold me back today. Skype did not work right in the very beginning, and now I got to restart again. Okay, I don't know making these apps, but we gotta go to Bill Gates' house and be like, yo, man, tighten Skype up, please, because I got a shoulder run here. Okay, I can be having these interruptions. You know, it's wearing me out here with these interruptions. Let's go ahead and get restarted. Sorry about the loud noise. I remember right when the restarted it, I had to restart it again. Okay, let's try that one more time. Let's try that one more again. That didn't do it. That did not do it. Okay. Y'all hold on, please, for just 1 second. I got to tighten up my system here. And we're going to go ahead and get this going properly. And there we go. That should work. Okay. Let's try this. All right, Les, what's happening?
Hey, Bill, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Good, good. I'm glad to be a part of your show again. Phenomenal show by far.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
I just wanted to make a quick comment in regards to the whole Ukraine, Russia, and of course the U.S. always trying to pretty much, put their spoon where it doesn't belong.
Right.
I don't know if you heard about this, but according to an article I came across, Simon Parks ES .org, it states here that Ukraine has not registered its borders since December 25th of 1991. But in regards to that, the UN has not registered the borders of Ukraine as a sovereign state. So that means in reality, like Russia's not in any violation if they were just to walk in and what the US wants to call take over, basically.
Well, that's a good point. So, I mean, I think Ukraine may have an issue with it, but in reality, is it an issue? I mean, so here's a question: if Ukraine is not necessarily recognized as its own sovereign country, then what is it? Just part of Russian Federation?
It's still part of Russia, according to the article.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I think that's why when you did your video last time, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, that Russia has already been a part of, quote unquote, right? Or taken over. What was it? That one little spot by the Black Sea that you were covering?
The Donbass or Crimea?
Yeah, there. I mean, they've been there, for 8 years, and there was pretty much no coverage on it like how you're seeing it now. So now, in regards to what we're seeing, in my opinion, this is all just the next scare tactic because of the fact that now COVID is dying out. All these, leftist tyrants are basically saying, hey, we just got to learn how to live with it. So it's kind of like, well, we have to cover our tracks. So let's roll out the next distraction and scare tactic. So now let's blow up pretty much what's going on with Ukraine, which in reality, it is very relevant, like you're saying, to us at the end of the day.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect sense.
I wanted to go ahead and the little patriots are here. They want to say hello today.
Hi.
Hey, y'all. What's going on?
And the little patriots, you wanted to go ahead and just let you know, and the viewers know. So I'm sure you heard about this whole. Go ahead and put her on the $20 bill now.
I didn't catch that. You said who's gonna be on $20 bill?
Harriet Tubman.
Oh yeah, Harriet Tubman. Okay.
Yeah, so the school went ahead and of course, they had to do an article, and it was so funny because in the article it states, that Trump's administration never got around to it because they were focused on other things. And I started laughing because I'm like, yeah, he was actually focused on real issues that actually did concern America.
Right, exactly. I mean, we got all these problems with inflation and everything else. They're talking about changing the $20 bill. Okay, great.
Right. So, I mean, of course, she did, her report the way it has to be. There's like several questions on here, reason, basically like readers' point of view. I'm sorry, not readers' point of view, the author's point of view. And she wanted to go ahead, if it's okay with you. She wrote a really nice response to her teacher that she's going to actually submit tomorrow. So she wanted to read it, if that's okay with you.
Go for it. Yeah.
Alrighty. It's all yours.
Sorry, I get really nervous.
It's okay.
It's all good. Just me and you.
I want to truly understand why Democrats have an obsession with the color of people's skin. I understand that Harriet Tubman played a major role at a certain time in history, but there is a huge importance why we have presidents on our money. It is the top leaders of our country who have done so much to better our nation. This is why we have on U.S. money. Sorry.
It's all good.
If we want to make it about the color of someone's skin, Biden's administration should highly consider Candace Owens on the $20 bill. Candace Owens has done way more for Black America in modern time. Candace Owens would be the perfect face for the $20 bill because she is helping Black America on how they can make their second escape from the Democrat plantation.
Very good. Very, very good. I love it. Put it in the frame. I love it.
We're going to see what her response is.
Oh, that's gonna be very interesting, to say the least. But that was very well done. I like that a lot.
Yeah, alrighty, ABL. Well, we want to wish you a wonderful night, all the viewers, and God bless. And till next time, we'll be seeing you. Thank you.
Bye, ABL.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Wow. Hey, man, I had one tear that was ready to come up. It was like one tear right there in the corner of my eye, but I didn't let it drop. I didn't let it drop. I'm too hard. it was like right there, it just dropped down. So yeah, shout out to her. That was very good. Yeah, put Candace Owens on $20 bill. I'll like that. Wow. All right, let's go. 253 on line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Newly from Washington State.
All righty, what's going on?
Hey, ABL. Yeah, I was wondering, have you heard of the story here? You were talking earlier about that gentleman, or I shouldn't even say that, but that guy that assaulted that little girl in the bathroom. There's a story here that's local about a 14-year-old kid with autism who's pretty much nonverbal, like a freshman in high school, and he was followed into the bathroom and beaten up. They filmed it and posted it to Instagram. It turns out, I guess this high school knew about this sort of thing. They have like a fight club. And this poor kid with not a friend in the world was totally, took a beat down. They chipped out one of his teeth. And it's pretty easy. Like if you look it up, there's a whole bunch of local news on it, but it never made national media. And it's just a heartbreaking story. I help, advocate for people that have autism and disabilities. And I was hoping like somebody with some national pull would maybe pick up this story and kind of get, some attention on it, because it doesn't seem like the high school's doing much. They actually suspended the victim as well as the perpetrator until they figured out, like, oh my gosh, he wasn't participating in the fight. He totally was just attacked. About 20 students surrounded him and filmed it and laughed at him. And of course, the poor kid's mother received a phone call saying, hey, your son's been suspended for fighting. And she's like, my son doesn't fight. He's he has a disability. Like he wouldn't even, I don't know. Anyways, I just was hoping somebody like with influence like yourself might look into it. It's easily searched on the internet. If you want, I can give his name. They actually have a GoFundMe for the kid. They're trying to raise money for dental work and hopefully like private school and legal fees. I know the Pierce County, they finally did decide they're going to prosecute the perpetrator. But since he's a minor, he's just going to get, if he gets convicted, it'll only be like 0 to 30 days in juvenile detention. Apparently this kid has a pretty long record of attacking people. And it's an outrageous story. I almost can't even talk about it. It's just heartbreaking. The poor kid's been victimized repeatedly because they filmed it and posted it to Instagram. So there's several clips of it floating on the internet of the beatdown itself.
Yeah, that's pretty terrible. But you know what? That goes to talk about public school, because a lot of that type of stuff goes on. And it also points to the incompetence of the school, because you would think that you could kind of like identify what's going on. If you have a autistic child who is nonverbal, they're not going to be involved in a fight club. They don't understand what's going on. It's clear that he's being bullied. But again, you have incompetent people at these schools. It just kind of let stuff like that go on. So I'm not sure how much longer. Huh?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was just agreeing. And there's no infrastructure. I spent hours with the State Attorney General's office, the Pierce County Prosecutor's office, even the District 1 rep for Washington State that covers that area where it's the high school. And if I did receive a call back, it was just to say, oh, yeah, we know about it. And I was even told by the prosecutor's office that, oh, we're in a progressive criminal justice reform. So our answer isn't to incarcerate juveniles. It's to take a minimal approach And I'm just like, are you kidding me? That kid could have been a blind kid. He might as well have drop kicked a 3-year-old. Like, you're telling me people with disabilities, it's like open season on them, and there's no advocacy for them, no, no sense of punitive anything in the criminal justice system,
Yeah, and it's a dumb way to go about it, because a lot of these juveniles are very violent, very dangerous, the same as adults. Sometimes even worse than adults, because the juveniles a lot of times are just they act brainless. They'll commit very violent acts without thinking about it at all. So they're very dangerous, and they shouldn't be treated like they're just innocent little babies. A lot of these kids are very violent,
predators.
very dangerous. Yeah, predators, all of that. So that kind of thinking, that comes from that kind of guilty about these poor kids, all this and that. But all it's going to do is just make crime worse. So it's really a bad way to go about it.
Well, if it's okay, can I mention the GoFundMe for anyone in your audience that may be generous enough that may want to help that family out, or they could research this first? Yeah, his name is Landon, Landon, and last name is Vance, Vance. So if you just Google that, or his mother, her name is Nell, Nelle, Nell Vance, or if I think it's called Landon's Recovery is the actual GoFundMe. If you Google any of that, people can instantly have access to the local here in Washington State, King 5 News, Cairo, Q13. They've done minimal coverage on the story, but I'm just doing pretty much whatever I can to help try to get the story out. I mean, it's a meager GoFundMe. They're apparently only asking for about $50,000, which won't cover maybe a year or two of private school. That would barely cover an attorney's fee kind of thing. But I don't know. I just have felt called to do whatever I can to help get this story out and help this particular family. So I thank you, ABL, for taking the time to let me discuss this with you.
Well, thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
Yeah. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of thing happens in school, though. I've seen that kind of stuff happen. Not a fight club like that, but I wouldn't be surprised that a lot of these kind of things exist. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Unfortunately, I'm not surprised. I should be surprised, but I'm not. And that's really the tragic part. But let's keep on going here. Let's go to the next one. It's going to be 360. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Melvin.
Good night. Bye-bye.
All righty, what's happening?
Hey, ABL. Hey, glad to talk to you again. I'm glad you answered. I've been calling for a long time. Hey, check this out, man. Your last caller from Washington State, so am I. I was born and raised in Seattle, and my town is a total disaster.
I've seen.
Now, when I was a kid going to school, as a black-white, mixed black-white, German, Czechoslovakian black boy going to a white school, I got called all kinds of names by certain people in the neighborhood. But then my family was very successful. The cops would police in Seattle, and our crime rate was not too bad. And now I'm going to be 54 August 5th, sir. And the state of Washington and Seattle in particular, Oregon, because I drive at shipping containers, and they're a disaster. You see the homeless everywhere. And I look at this stuff. When I was growing up, man, if you didn't act right, you got messed up by your parents and your grandparents. I don't know what's happening here, sir. You tell me.
The politics and the drugs, that's the main thing. Because you have the politics say that it's okay to just be outside camping in a tent in front of somebody's house, in a public square, in a park, wherever you want to go. And it's okay to smoke meth, shoot heroin, smoke crack outside in public. It's not really a big deal. You won't go to jail. Property crimes, not really a big deal. All these things mixed together. And the crazy radical politicians that do whatever they want to do, they're corrupt, they're woke. All of that kind of comes together, and it creates kind of a lawless environment for certain parts of the city. Now, if you go out to the more rich parts, what's that city? Was it Bellevue? Is that what it's called in Seattle?
Well, okay, since I grew up here, you have Bellevue, you have Totem Lake, you have Redmond, you have what is it? Bear City, and you have Montlake Terrace, you have Linwood, you have Marysville, you have because I'm from here, and I'm gonna tell you something, man. And then you got Renton, and then you get down, go back 167 south, you get to Enumclaw, well, you get down to Sumner, and you go up to Enumclaw, but look, man, I was a kid, man. We all got along up here, and seriously, it's true. The rich people that had the money lived in places like Bellevue, Washington, and up in Linwood and Montlake Terrace and Marysville and Totem Lake, and then I grew up in Wallingford, and then we had a Montlake Cut, then we had Rainier Beach. And then when you get to Rainier Beach, now you got the Section 8 housings and all this crap. And then this is what happened. In the Central District, the rich houses were on the west side of Lake Washington. And then about 1983, 85, 84, 85, them little bastards from the Central District started coming down to Seattle Center. If you went down there, you got your wristband, you can ride the rides all night long, all day long, get hot dogs and ride the monorail. Like James Brown was on the monorail. And then here comes the thugs. The NWA little, yep, that's what happened. And then that's what happened. And then it went to crap. And ever since then, I'm going to tell you this. It's about 1987, 88, 89.
Sorry, I got it. Real quick. Sir, real quick though. Go ahead though.
No, you asked me.
I was saying just be real quick with it, please, because we got more calls.
I know. Ask me the question.
I was saying tell your story, but tell your story quickly because we have more calls.
Oh, I know, sir. But I'm going to let you go because, that's what happened in Seattle. It's a bunch of BS, man. Run by liberal Democrats who ruined my city. I went to high school with Jordan Royer, was the last Republican son. There you go.
Well, thank you for the call,
Love
man.
you, man.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, shout out to the caller. But yeah, substance abuse. That's the problem in Free Outer Washington. Substance abuse. Please stay sober. That's all I'm saying. That's a serious problem in this country is the drugs. That's why, and I saw that like as a kid, like I would see the drug infested areas. I always told the story about how my neighborhood when I was younger, like when I was like middle school, elementary, like 4th, 5th, 6th grade, right around then. I'm living in the 100% black neighborhood. It's kind of poor. It's like where we lived at that time was like income restricted apartments. It wasn't the projects at all. It was like a regular apartment, but it was like income restricted. The kind of place. Rent now probably be like $700, $800, maybe probably more than that now because of the housing crisis. But anyway, back then it might have been like $500 a month for rent, $700 or whatever it was, that kind of place. Anyway, basically you got to work to be there, but you're not necessarily rich at all. You're kind of like working poor. So our neighborhood was okay. You might have had a shooting every now and again. But then when they unleashed the dragon on us, when they released the Kraken, when they tore down a project called Outer Barber, when they tore that down, they gave them vouchers to come to our neighborhood. Man, Animal House overnight. It was nuts. It was totally nuts. And the biggest problem was all these dope things that came out there. Banging on your door all hours of the night. Oh, it was crazy. And it becomes dangerous because when you got a fiend that's out of his mind, high on drugs or wanting drugs, and he's right next to you, and the crack spot is like right across the street, you're going to be in danger. So we got out of there immediately. We couldn't stay at all. We had to escape. You understand? That's what that was. All right, let's go to the next one here.
That's a serious problem.
You're on line with speaking to 773.
ABL.
What's happening?
It's your Chicago police officer friend. How you doing?
Oh, well, man, can't complain.
So, just to give you a summary and a backdrop on what I've told you before, Mayor Lightfoot wanted all city workers, including the police, to be vaccinated by December 31st. Then we got an injunction by a judge that said it has to, because it's part of a contract, and the contract negotiation has to be negotiated on a contract. We've been out of contract for over 4 years, so we went to an arbitrator now, and the arbitrator was going back and forth with our contract through the city. And just today, of course, just what I said would happen, the arbitrator has found in favor of the Chicago police, in favor of the city. So even though that all these vax mandates are being rescinded and loosened and everything else, she has now said the arbitrator has gone in favor of the city, and every Chicago police officer must be vaccinated by, she didn't give a date. I don't know the date because it just happened today. But by March, so next month, all police officers have to be vaccinated or lose your job. And I've told you before, I've been, submitting to the COVID test on my dime twice a week. I've taken over 24 or something like that COVID tests now that I paid for, been negative with each and every COVID test. However, the mayor, she caught COVID. And so did her aides catch COVID and everything else. I haven't gotten COVID. But now they're going to force me to be vaccinated. As I told you before, I have enough years on. My pension is secured. So I'm going to retire. Now, I don't know exactly when, but it'll be by next month. I'm retiring and leaving it at that. But unfortunately, a lot of police officers that are still on the job are not able to do that because they don't want to lose their career, flush 14 years down the drain, something like that. I'm going to retire. I'll be fine because I have a pension. But these other coppers are going to either have to face, first, what they're going to do is they're going to stop your pay if you don't submit. If you don't submit a vaccine card to the city, your pay will stop, and then you'll get hearings and you'll be fired, is what's going to happen. And in light of what's happening in society right now, they're going backwards on the vaccinations as far as mandating vaccinations. A lot of cities and government are going backwards on it, and they're saying you don't have to be. But she wants to take her victory lap and say, we won, you have to be vaccinated, it's for the safety of the public. Well, the safety of the public would be to stay away from you, the mayor, because she's been infected.
It's crazy.
Unbelievable.
It really is totally crazy, and it makes no sense. Just like the whole thing in New York, where there's a vax mandate for the Brooklyn Nets basketball players, like they have to get vaxxed to play in Brooklyn. But if an away team comes and they don't have, and they have players that aren't vaccinated, then they could play in Brooklyn.
I saw your video on that, and I also heard you talking about that exactly. Because once it's talking about money and people's income, and restaurants closing because they're not getting enough people to go to their restaurants, or not filling. We might be champions, and that means millions and millions of dollars that we're going to lose out on. Well, he could play in away games. It's totally hypocritical. I wanted to say one other thing about the Ukraine, which actually correlates with police work. When criminals see that the police have been neutered and the police are not strong, well, the criminal takes advantage of that. And once they saw that Biden is completely weak, this would have never happened under Trump. Number one, people would have not even ventured over to the border, let alone putting a wall up. They just don't venture over to the border because Trump showed strength, and strength meant if you come over here, we're going to send you back. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. So people don't even come. But once they saw weakness in Biden, here they come. Now, we all know that Biden wants to let everybody in because he needs an influx of Democratic voters. So first you let them in the country, then you figure out how can we get these people to vote. Well, we won't ask for ID. I have to have an ID to, kids have to have an ID to go get a pack of cigarettes or some booze. You have to have a license and an ID to be, to give a haircut, but you don't need it to vote for the president of our country. So that's what's happening. So once they saw weakness, same with the Ukraine, same with what happened in Iraq and all that. Once they see weakness, the criminal element takes over, or the terrorist element takes over, and they do whatever they want. This would have never happened under Trump. They would have never done this. But just walk all over this Biden administration, and then these people wonder, why is this happening? They want to point a finger. It's because of the policies Trump did. It's because of this. It's because of that. No, there's consequences to your policies, and these are the consequences. They want to look everywhere else to point blame. The blame is on you. This is the consequences of your policies, which are totally ridiculous. I'll let you get the other callers. ABL, I love your show. I love calling in. That's my 2 cents. Have a good night. I'm going to keep watching.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it. All right. Good call. Good call. A little breaking news here. Your man Trey Yanks, the Fox News reporter, is saying that there's explosions being heard in Kyiv. So we'll keep an eye on that. But as I was saying in my video, that's it today, I think, in my video, where I was talking about how they'll probably take, if Putin goes beyond the Donbass and the far eastern part of Ukraine, he'll probably go up to Kyiv and take all of that to the east, and also take the Dnieper River, which is right there. The river bisects Ukraine and also bisects Kyiv. So he'll probably take that. And I don't think that the citizens will necessarily be too upset about that, in my opinion. Now, if he goes beyond that and goes like close to Lviv and all that kind of stuff, that'd be a problem. That'd be a bigger problem than what he's doing right now, in my opinion. Let's keep on going here. Let's go to 678 on the line. I'm speaking to.
Hey, Neil.
What's happening?
I don't know. I'm just calling, just listening. Yeah, your topics you're talking about, I kind of want to talk about the trans offender.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I found out something. It's like quite obvious. Microsoft, made deepfake, which is a program where a lot of people use to fake stuff, and people, is when you transition or whatever. I've been like doing research. I'm just a dude, but yeah, like they this, most of it's fake, and yeah, that's the thing. So it's kind of like, be careful on what kids look at.
Hold on. Hold on. So what's fake now?
There's a program called Deepfake.
Okay.
It's made by Microsoft, and there's videos on, if you Google it, how powerful that program is. So literally, most photos are altered, like very much. I mean, to the point where they make up, because like I'm a programmer, so like they can make up a whole character. Like they already have like Disney movies where it's 3D, but there's programs where it's pretty secret. So it can get, like, it sounds a little crazy, but well, I can't get into that, but yeah, it's like editing, it's not just Photoshop, it's not just other stuff. Deepfake is a free program, from Google I've read. So people, people think it's real. Like if you take a hormone, and then like most of it is not, like quite literally. Yeah, and hormones can't change your biology or anything to the point where it's from your chromosomes. So I just want to put that out there. Like, there's just a ton of fake photos, and they can put it in order, because I've seen them do this. They can put it in order, and make it look like they're transforming in order, and they're not. So
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, shout out to the caller. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bang on you like that just right now, but thank you for the call. Let's get to some more here. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. But yeah, it's all kind of fake stuff on the internet. I mean, you got to know, if you're on the internet, some things can be fake. That's just what that is. It's the internet. I don't believe anything I hear from anybody until I, do some my independent fact checking. I believe some things I hear from some people, but for the most part, if I see something on the internet, I'm going to always double, triple, quadruple check and see what's going on and do some fact checking and investigation to really get to the bottom of what's cracking. Okay, let's get to some more here. Let's go. 559 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, it's Patrick in California. How's it going?
Everything's all right, man. How about yourself?
Hey, good, man. Hey, I just had a quick question to pitch out to you, and I just wanted your take on it. What if this whole thing is set up to make it look like that the Biden administration is actually doing something about it in Ukraine, trying to, play the mediation role, but actually on the flip side of the coin, it's Biden who is making it look like that he's going to be doing something, but in reality, in behind the curtains, this is actually something that they are agreeing upon. Like, there's like an agreement that we don't know about with this whole situation, kind of like how he made a deal with China. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, that definitely could be going on. But what I think is happening is that Putin, I think an earlier caller was talking about how he sees weakness because he knows that there won't be real consequences. He could just do whatever he wants at this point. Europe won't do anything. The U.S. won't do anything. So go ahead and do it. I don't think there's any kind of collaboration with the Biden administration on this. There could be, most certainly, but I don't think that Putin thinks he has to.
Yeah. I agree. I don't think so either. So I appreciate your take on that, ABL, and have a good one.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's a good point. There could be some collaboration behind the scenes to make it seem like there's one thing that's going on, but in reality, it's not quite that way. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that at all. I wouldn't doubt if the Ukrainian president and Putin were talking. I wouldn't doubt. I mean, nothing surprises me anymore. Anytime I see anything like that, I'm never surprised. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But I think that Biden is just pretty much taken advantage of. He's not going to do anything. There's nothing he really can do anyway. So let's just go ahead and do what I want. That's pretty much how that operates. Yeah. So I'm hearing about they're shelling in Ukraine. Somebody asked, what does it mean for us? Nothing, maybe higher gas prices because of the global gas price going up because of Nord Stream 2 being stopped, and they're stopping production over here because of the Keystone XL, which has already been going on for a while. All right. So let's get to the next one. 251 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi,
Hello?
ABL.
Yes.
This is Officer Michael Bushwood Stewart, and I am a fighter pilot in Mobile, Alabama. And I just want to say that I love your show.
Well, thank you for that, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right, shout out to the caller. Appreciate y'all. Fighter pilot. Man, that'd be cool if I can get up there and fly in the sky like that. You know, I'm always amazed when I go to the air show, when I go to Virginia and I see the Blue Angels. Oh, man, if you've never seen the Blue Angels or any of the military jets when they fly real close to the ground or when they fly like real close in formation, it's a sight to see, man. It's like a video game in real life. It's crazy. It's totally crazy. And they're super loud. The military jets you got to have the gun range ear protection on. The plugs ain't going to do it. You got to have the noise canceling ear protection. Like if you about to go to the gun range, that's how loud them things are. Okay. So yeah, shout out to all the pilots. Shout out to all the guys flying in the sky. All the guys and girls flying in the sky. Let's get to some more here. Let's go to 954. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Nina G.
All righty, what's going on? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All righty, what's going on?
I just wanted to talk about the whole Russia thing.
All right.
Don't you think, and think about this, that if Putin wanted to go into Ukraine, really, he would have done it already, like a long time ago.
Well,
like, he didn't need permission.
He already took Ukraine. I mean, he already took Crimea like years ago. So he's already done it.
Right. So what? This is all a dog and pony show. Believe me, this is nothing. Democrats are really, really good at creating crises. And this is a distraction, and people need not be distracted because it doesn't matter what happens in Ukraine. That doesn't affect us other than gas prices are going to be high, but gas prices are going to be high no matter what. It didn't matter if it was Ukraine or any other country. It doesn't matter because inflation is a tactic that's used by every dictatorship, authoritarian in the world to create suffrage for the people of a country so that they can rule over them. So don't be distracted by this. This Russia thing is all a setup. It is not going. Ukraine is probably happy that Russia's taken over. Believe me, they're in cahoots. This is nothing. What we need to do is secure our southern border. And right now, support our truckers who are going to DC to fight for our freedoms. Because if you think mandates and restrictions are over, think again, because they're going to be more enforced. 2022 election in November is coming up, and they're going to do something. And they may use this Ukraine-Russia, show to do something. So, there might be a cyber attack, there might be this, they might have to shut us down, they might have to shut the grid, they might have to shut the internet, all those things that they could come up with. So people need to think about this and stop thinking that, this could happen and believing what they're saying. If Russia invades Ukraine, so what? What does that have to do with us? It has nothing to do with us.
I'm with you, for sure.
All righty. And thanks for everything you do.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate you. All right, shout out to the caller. Now, somebody said we got breaking news on NBC. Well, okay, I got some stuff right here. So this is a little bit of breaking news because, I am a news channel, so I got to keep you abreast of what's happening in the world. So we got a couple things here. First, let's talk about this. So the caption right here says, Putin speaking on Russian TV. He says he's launched a special military operation, quote unquote, in the Donbass and isn't planning to occupy Ukraine, but he's demanding Ukraine's army lay down its weapons and says Kyiv will be responsible for possible bloodshed. This is it. So this is exactly what I was saying before. He's going to take Donbass, which is the far eastern part of Ukraine that wants to be part of Russia anyway. He's going to take that. And the reason why they are there with their tanks is because before they were allegedly just arming the separatist forces, and they were fighting the Ukrainian army. But the Ukrainian army is not going to fight Russia, because if the Ukrainian army fights Russia directly, then Russia will attack Kyiv and take the whole Ukraine. So basically, it's like this. Check it out. We're going to take the Donbass right now, right? If you want to interfere Ukraine, then it's going to be a wrap. You're going to go ahead and get demolished. So don't even try it. Europe won't come save you. US won't come save you. China, Iran, they're on our side. So just give it up. What are you going to do? Now, if you're living in Ukraine and you don't want that to happen, I feel for you. But what am I to do? What can we do? Nothing. If we do anything, it won't actually prevent them from taking Ukraine anyway. So what's the purpose? Now, here's some more. Here's some more that we got to see. So apparently there's been some shelling and whatnot. So here's a video that I have from ABC. And the caption says, explosions heard in the distance before sunrise in Kyiv, Ukraine.
I do want to ask the control room if we have that video, because we are beginning to hear a series of explosions. We took a moment to hear it earlier. I just wanted to play for you some of what they're hearing in Ukraine now, a few hours before the sun comes up.
And if you're not watching the video and you hear me on audio only, this is a live picture of Kyiv, Ukraine. So I'm not sure where the explosions are happening at. I guess somewhere close to Kyiv, or it's just loud explosions way out in the Donbass, which is very far away from Kyiv. Well, not that far, but far enough.
Vladimir Putin would.
But Kyiv is not being attacked. I don't see any bombs going off. I don't see nothing burning in Kyiv itself. So here's a map. That's okay. I love maps. Y'all know I love maps. So let's go ahead and just maximize this right quick. Okay. So now you see the Dnieper River, right? It bisects the whole country. It goes kind of like down the middle almost. Kyiv is right there on the river. Now, if Putin goes and takes all of this, okay, let me back up a little bit. This area over there, the far eastern part of Ukraine, that's the Donbass region. This already Russian controlled because rebels already had it. They want to be separatists. They want to be part of Russia. Russia came into right there for peacekeeping, meaning to stop the Ukrainian army from attacking the separatists, because the Ukrainian army won't attack the Russians directly, because if they attack the Russians directly, then they're going to go to Kyiv and take that, right? And take the whole eastern part. They might take that anyway, but for right now, they're going to be right here. No, and they already got Crimea because they took that years ago. Now, if they come over here to like Moldova, well, they kind of already got Moldova, like a satellite state, because they got military right there in Moldova. But if they go over there to Lviv, which is right there by Poland, now we got a problem. In the U.S., we're right there at a base in Poland, which is not far from Lviv. Okay. They probably won't take this part over here because that's more like leaning toward the West and EU, all that kind of stuff. They probably would take over there closer to Russia and, more favorable to the former Soviet Empire. So that's kind of what's going on. Ultimately, at the end of the day, whatever happens, we're not going to necessarily get involved. I think we're in Poland so he doesn't try to go all the way into, because the reason why NATO was formed is because it's to protect Europe from Russia. So if he was to take the whole Ukraine and then take Lviv and then try to go to, into Poland, the Krakow and stuff like that, now we got a problem. Because then you're right there by Germany. Now we're going back to the war. And you don't want that to happen. But let's move on to the next caller here. And the number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Tong Po Pyro says, the sanctions are working. Yes, the sanctions are working very well. Putin's doing whatever he wants. The sanctions are working like a charm, ain't they? That's what's going on with that. Were the explosions? It was kind of soft. It was faint in the background, but I was hearing some stuff. It probably was coming from far away because Kyiv wasn't getting shelled. Kyiv wasn't getting attacked at all. It was sounding like it was far away, but I'm not really sure from where. 845, you're online. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony, how are you?
I'm well, man. How about yourself?
Rafi. I'm Rafi from New York.
All righty, what's going on?
Very good. Let me tell you everything that I think about the war. It's all about the money.
Yeah.
And when Nancy Pelosi says that Russia are the Nazis, she doesn't know any history.
Absolutely.
Russia are the ones that defeated the Nazis. She was alive then, not me, and she's such a dummy.
I agree. She is.
Like, Ukraine were the people that helped the Nazis, and she's like, Russia are the Nazis? It's all about the money. But, Anthony, you're doing a great job, so I enjoy listening to you.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate it.
No problem, Anthony. Bye.
Well, a little bit of history, knowledge of history means a lot. We got to understand what history is. This is not World War III at all. People say, this is World War III. How? Because Ukraine getting hit. Ukraine already got hit. Ukraine got annexed a little bit in 2014. Where was the war back then? They took Crimea in 2014. And Russia took part of Georgia in 2014. Not the state, obviously, the country that's right there by the Caucasus Mountains to the southern. It's like right there. It's like right there on the what's that? The Black Sea or whatever that is right there. Right there by Crimea. Took that too. It's a lot of independent little autonomous regions down there. Dagestan, which is a mostly Muslim area. Russia got that. I mean, they don't really care. Let's go to the next one here. Now, when China takes Taiwan, it'd be interesting to see what happens when China takes Taiwan. What are we going to do to China? Nothing at all. Not even sanctions. They're not even going to sanction. Like, we're not going to send any troops to South China Sea. We're not going to send any aid to Taiwan. Nothing. You're going to see a whole different experience when they take Taiwan. Just watch. 918, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Bill. This is JB Scotchman from Oklahoma.
All righty. What's going on?
Hey, man. I just thought of something after you showed that footage from ABC there. You remember a couple years ago when Syria was all in the news, and ABC aired some footage from an alleged slaughter in Syria against their own people, but it turned out to be video from a Kentucky gun range.
Yeah, I
where
remember
everybody. Yeah. I mean, I know this stuff going right now is real, but it just makes you gotta stop and think. Like, you gotta question everything they're showing on the mainstream news right now. I mean, and that video is still up on YouTube, surprisingly. It's over a couple years old. And ABC got away with it. They never apologized for it. It was clearly just fake news. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure what's going on over there is a real thing, but everybody's just got to stop and take a look at it and see, how real it is,
Right, exactly, because we know the mainstream media, they will put some fake stuff out there or some misleading stuff out there. They have no problem doing that. I wouldn't be surprised if that video I just saw was some fake audio they piped in from somewhere else. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, that could have just been a shot from, the city of Kyiv, and they just added in some sound effects.
Right. Right.
Because I didn't see any explosions anywhere. So, yeah, I mean, you can't believe anything this fake news is saying right now.
That's right.
So I just thought I'd bring that. That's what it reminded me of. So I just thought I'd bring that up. And like I said, it's still on YouTube. People can look it up for themselves. Fake news of Syria attack by ABC. It's just something to consider.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Well, thanks for your time.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate it.
All right, later, dude.
And something else. Okay, so Trump is apparently live on Fox right now, but Biden is in the bed. Biden ain't going to be able to, if Putin wants to do some kind of invasion or something like that, you do it right now at this time because the president ain't going to say nothing. He's not going to be able to. He won't get out of bed. If they get him out of bed, they got to go ahead and just unfreeze the crowd chamber unfreeze the cryo chamber, get him back thawed out. By the time he gets thawed out and reanimated, it's gonna be too late. It'll already be over with. So they know what's going on. That man ain't gonna get out to bed. But Trump is up and cracking right now. If Trump were in the White House, he'd be up right now talking about what's going on. But then again, if he was in the White House, it wouldn't even be happening. I don't think. Not like this, because I think what's going on here is that this is an opportunity that Putin is seizing to take advantage of it. 410, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, my name's Ethan.
All right, turn speakers down in the background for me, please.
Hello?
Turn speakers down in the background for me, please. I'm hearing feedback.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right. You good to go?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So what's going on? Hello? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm calling from Oregon. I know you guys kind of make fun of Oregon a lot.
It's really just Portland, not the whole state. If you live in Portland, I feel for you. But if you live elsewhere, then you good.
Yeah, I mean, I live down the street from the Let's Go Brandon guy, so yeah. So I mean, I think you make a lot of good points about crime and the police, and I really like I really enjoy your show because you cover that, and I don't think I see that on a lot of the media available elsewhere. So I think I'm here with a lot of other people by the sounds of it. And yeah, I mean, recently, there's been a lot of changes in the state, and I think I hope that we can, get some sort of help for people who are addicted to drugs. I've noticed over the past 2 years in the southern state, there's been a lot of homelessness. It's incredible, hundreds of tents in the parks. And interestingly, they have a law, I guess, from my understanding, that they need to provide a place for homeless people. So they need to basically frequently go through and try to get these people shuttled to, shelters or something like that. So I just hope that people wake up to more of the bigger problems with, the structure of welfare and these social service programs that are basically just forming these industries that kind of cater to homelessness and drug problems. I mean, I don't want to see people thrown in jail for being an addict, but I also want to see some kind of means for them to be able to turn around and get a job and not have a criminal record and stuff like that following them. I mean, I was a pharmacist for many years, and now I do something completely different because I couldn't do a lot of the stuff anymore. I mean, seeing the opiate crisis and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's hard. I mean, people have a lot of sad stories about just being shuffled around the medical system for, surgeries or whatever, things go wrong, and you witness it and you feel helpless. And, I mean, in this state, we have a pretty good program that helps people get off drugs, but it takes a long time. It takes, years of treatment. And it's expensive, but, they have a really high success rate. And I think, there's a lot of people out there that want help. So I hope we can see that happen. I don't think it's on the top of the menu, but 18 to 40-year-olds, I think one of the number one causes of death right now are drug overdoses. So hopefully we can get some inflation under control and maybe stop, pooping in Ukraine's backyard or something. I mean, we're just poking our fingers at everyone else, and when we have a lot of problems here with that problem right now, I completely agree, and I think we also need to respect that not everyone takes the same path to that, and having those problems, and hopefully we can see some changes in terms of how to go about that. But yeah, I love your show. I hope I didn't ramble too much.
Oh, it's all good, man.
I was actually calling because I feel like you talked about no-knock warrants, and a lot of them are for drugs, and I wish more of them were for violent criminals, and I wish the SWAT team came to more of that stuff, and I just feel like we're in need of a big change in this country in terms of opening opportunities and getting more people back to work and more work. And I think, that starts with reducing a lot of the regulations. And I think Trump is doing that. And now we're back to square one. So, God bless. Hope we can get there. And thanks for having me on.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Good call. Yeah, man. The drugs are a serious problem out there on the left coast. That's like the main thing. Like, didn't they invent meth labs in Portland or Seattle somewhere? Like, wasn't that really where it started? And then for some reason it spread to the middle America, Appalachia, and kind of like St. Louis and southern Missouri and West Virginia, Ohio. I don't know. It's all over the place now. Let's get to some more calls here. All right, 316 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, I'm calling from the Netherlands. How are you?
I'm well. About yourself?
I'm good. Yes. So, there's no news from the Brits with Diesel and his yacht, so I'll be waiting for that. But I wanted to let you know about. So, in America, your gas prices are rising, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, what does a gallon cost in your state right now?
Well, I'm in a pretty good state, so a gallon is like $3.
Okay. So let me tell you how we went here in the Netherlands. So our gas prices were always very high. It's insane, but okay. So I've converted it from liters to gallons and from euros to dollars. So this is what we pay in dollars then in the Netherlands. So in December of 2020, when Trump was in office, it was $6.64 for 1 gallon. That was December of 2020, yes?
Right.
Okay, so in December of 2021, it was $8.43.
Wow.
For 1 gallon.
Wow.
And now before the Russian invasion, so that's a week ago, I went to the gas station and I paid, wait for it, $9.36 a gallon. That's the price we pay right now.
It's triple what I paid. Triple. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
Yes. So you need to put some. You need to drill, man, over there. It's really crazy. And Shell, the gas company, is a Dutch company from origin, but Shell has been selling out everything. They're going green, and I don't know what, but it's insane. At this moment now, it's €2 and €2.19 a liter. And before Biden went to office, it never went above €2.
That's crazy. Totally crazy.
Yeah. Yes. So $9.36 a gallon we pay right now. And I also want to say, did you know that you've been mentioned on the Timcast from Tim Pool? You've been mentioned by name there. Did you know that?
Oh, I have? Me?
You know Tim Pool, right?
I know who he is, yeah.
Okay. So on the Timcast IRL, that's his podcast. He does, I believe, 4 days a week. It was on the 18th of December of 2021. There was a guest super chatted, and I know you have made a video about him and the Rugged Man, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of his people super chatted to him that he should have you on his show.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's very cool. So it's at 1 hour, 43 minutes, and 30 seconds. So 1 hour, 43 minutes, and 30 seconds. And the guests were Shane Cashman and Olivia Rondeau. I don't know if you know these people.
Yeah, I know. I met Olivia before. Yeah, I remember her from like the Black Leadership Summit stuff. I met her before.
Ah, okay, cool. She said you were a very smart guy. So and people didn't exactly know who you were, but he seemed interested. So you need to check it out, man.
Oh, will do for sure.
Yeah, okay. And well, that's all I have to say, man. But please give us some better gas prices, man. We can't afford this.
I hear you, man. Thank you for the call.
Thank you for taking my call, ABL. Speak to you later, man. Bye-bye.
I mean, can you imagine paying $10 for 1 gallon of gas? You know, I go to the gas station. I'm seeing this action right here. They're counting out change. Yo, can I remember back in the days? You'd be like, yo, can I get 5.2? Where you going with $5 a gallon? $5 now in Netherlands? You ain't going nothing but to the next gas station with $5. $10. It's unreal. I mean, you can't have, if you're in Europe, places like that, you probably don't have no big vehicles, right? You probably just driving like one of those little, you know, like a Prius type. You got to have an electric car. You got to have electric because you can't afford to get the gas. But then again, I mean, your electric, that's not powered by a fairy dust. So how much is your electric bill costing? Okay. And it gets cold in Europe, obviously. How are you going to be able to charge your lithium ion battery when it's 35 degrees below zero? What you going to do with that? That's a whole big mess, man. It's crazy. $10. I got a big truck and I'm paying about $75 a gallon. I mean, $75 to fill my tank right now with today's prices. I'll be paying like, what? Almost like $300. It's too much. 416 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, it's Cigar Box. How you doing?
I'm well, man. How about yourself?
Oh man, it's just bizarre up here. Luckily, the idiot has rescinded the orders, but I got a funny feeling he's going to want to put them back. And I think that the only reason that he took them back is because he's being looked upon as, well, what he is a tyrant by other countries.
Yeah.
You know, he's
it's kind of becoming embarrassing to him, right?
Oh yeah, a lot of criticism from and it's not just regular people. This is like other world leaders who have been saying like, you're getting a little out of hand, buddy.
Right.
This is like crazy. I mean, it's not like, and the comparisons have been made, especially with what has gone down in the States with the BLM protests and like cities burnt to the ground and people getting killed and all the looting and violence. And honest to God, I've seen nothing but footage for like hours. And like we had kids there, bouncy castles, and people playing road hockey and things like that out in the street. There was no violence whatsoever. And the only time the violence came was when the cops came in and they were stoking up the fires. It was terrible. There's a clip out there. You can type it in about a Rebel News reporter getting, nailed by a cop, and what he did was he ran up to her and he fired a tear gas canister right into her leg, and she was in a lot of pain. Like she was just screaming. It was unbelievable what they did. But Trudeau hates Rebel News because they criticize him. He's actually said this in the House of Parliament. So it's just awful. Like, I mean, it's pretty good here in Toronto. Like, there's been people who were marching up and down the streets, and it's been going on in other cities also. I know that there was one down in British Columbia, and they went all the way down to the American border. There was thousands of cars all the way down there, and people were walking around. Then when CTV came, which is one of our broadcasters, and they're paid off by Trudeau too, they got out of the car, guys getting the camera out, and the people just went up there and told them to get the hell out of there, called them all a bunch of liars, which they are. They doxed people and stuff like that. And so they had to leave. Like, the cops were protecting. Nobody touched them. They were just yelling at them. So there was no violence at all, except for, and this is the funny thing, they kept saying, oh, the far right this, the far right that, and they're Nazis and everything. There was a woman had a little gelato shop, and she donated $250, and they doxed her. And she was getting phone calls from people saying that they were going to come down there and attack the employees and go after and drag them out and throw bricks through the windows and all this stuff. And is this not our far left? Like, these are the ones that are supposed to be the big angels, right?
Right.
So I'm just hoping and praying that the guys down there don't do anything at all to stir up anything. Like, that's what they're waiting for. That's what Trudeau was waiting for. That's why he let it go on for a couple of weeks. He was hoping there was going to be violence, and then he could send in stormtroopers. But you guys, they've been watching this, and I swear to God, they're going to be trying to poke these guys into starting a fight of somehow. And I really hope they just control themselves and sit back and let it happen. Honestly, it's about the only thing I can say. It's a good thing that they're doing it, but they've got to control themselves.
I'll tell you what.
And you know how well that like the government has those guys going down there and they'll stir stuff up, right? Like, they'll dress up and go into the crowd and stir things up. They've been doing it since Chicago back in the 60s. So anyway, I better let you go. Thank you very much. It's been a great show, and shout out to everybody. Have a good night, Anthony.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
You too, man. Bye.
All right. Great call. But that'll be a wrap for the calls tonight. Thank you all for being here. Definitely appreciate y'all. Couldn't do it without you. Enjoyed you guys. Really good show. Really good stream. Thank you to everybody that's been watching, super chatting, whatever you're doing. Thank you. Couldn't do it without y'all. Shout out to the mods for keeping them trolls in check and in line tonight. I got super chats on deck, and then I wrap it on up, put the bowl clean on top. Let's go ahead and go to hold on. Caius Parsons says, why do leftists marry? Okay, I already read that one. Thank you to Andre Hatchett again. Thank you to Gemma021 who says, greetings from Alaska, ABL. Keep doing you, brother. Thank you for that. Thank you to Richard Everett who says, finally someone else is saying it. Judicial Watch. Biden, Burisma, Russia connection. Butt versus Windshield says, so the New York City investigation into Trump's finances is pretty flimsy now. It's so bad that the two lead prosecutors resigned today. Yeah, I saw that. And you know what? The new DA is not going to press forward. I think the old DA, Letitia James, she is gone, and they got Alvin Bragg. So Alvin Bragg doesn't really want to go forward with it. You know, not saying Alvin Bragg is our friend, because Alvin Bragg is a defund the police type person. Well, not defunding the police. He's the kind of guy that doesn't want to prosecute a lot of crimes. At the same time, that means he doesn't really want to go through with Trump. So, yeah, I think it's pretty much a wrap. That was just a vendetta campaign that she had against him for some reason. For what reason, I don't know. Maybe she was friends with Omarosa or somebody, and they got a chip on their shoulder. I don't know. Thank you to Alfred Arthur Lee, who says, viruses don't go away. That's a fact. Viruses are considered eradicated if cases are below a certain threshold. Eradication does not equal annihilation. Facts. Thank you to Leo Mazzino, who says, where is the women's rights movement on this? Thomas? Oh, you're talking about Leah Thomas, a.k.a. William Thomas. Talk about lazy. Your name is William, right? How you spell William? William. You took the L-A-I out of the William and made it a new name in itself. Be creative. Can we get like one of these kind of like rednecky type names, like Summer Rain or something like that? Can we get that going on or nah? Anyway, I digress. Back to the super chat. Where is the women's rights movement on this, Leah Thomas? You think someone who takes a position on the women's team would be mad and protest? I guess not. Exactly. This person, Leah, went from number 432 when they were a man swimming at UPenn to number 1 with the women swimming. Unfair. Think of the final Faye who says, tell me how the CNN reporter is out there dressed in war gear like he's really about to get into battle. I can't call it. Bo versus Windshield says Kiev is reported. Kiev. I've said I've been told it's different things. I've heard it's Kiev and Kiev, and every time I say either one, I get corrected. So I'm gonna just say whatever. I'm gonna just say Ukraine. How about that? The big city right there on the river. How about that? Mike Bendis says CNN reporting they heard Hunter's crack pipe explode near Kiev. There you go. Let me see. Leo Mazzina says, do you think if Republicans take back the House, should they put Jim Jordan as speaker and not McCarthy? If not, who? I like Jim Jordan as a speaker. Yeah, I think I say go for it. Why not? Thank you to the anti-view who says Russian troops attempt to take over Kyiv airport. Is that correct? I got to do some research. What? Full invasion is here for Ukraine. Have a good night all. Cannot stay today. Hit the like. Yeah, hit the like button for me. That'll help me out a whole lot. Hit the like button, share button, do all that good stuff. Thank you to Bo versus Windshield who says Germans invented meth. Okay. Hitler was addicted and would shake. They gave it to the troops for the Blitzkrieg. The more you know. Had no idea. Thank you to Bot K MIT who says, don't forget about us lurkers. LOL, great show. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, shout out to all the lurkers. It's all good. And thank you to S4 who says, sorry, ABL, I'm a bit worked up. Peace and heart. Well, thank you all for being here. That'll be a wrap. I'll keep my eye on Ukraine, but that ain't really going to be nothing. Ain't going to be no World War III or nothing like that. That ain't what's going to go on. If he takes Ukraine, he takes Ukraine, but it won't be anybody going to do nothing. Europe won't get involved. We won't get involved. So it can't be this world war if nobody gets involved except for Ukraine and Russia. Ukraine can't really fight against Russia. They're going to lay down. The military will lay down. Some citizens may not lay down, but the military ain't really going to fight, at least not in the eastern part. But we'll see what happens. And until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.